Hello and welcome to episode 12 of the Graveyard Media Podcast for the week of October 2nd, 2017. I'm your co-host, Saine Grey. With me is Dalsson.
That's me, as always.
And Thel.
You know what fucking time it is. Halloween, motherfuckers. I am super excited, guys.
Your
I'm ready
vape
for
box
this.
looks like a baby bottle.
And it sounds like a slide whistle.
It does.
Ooh, that's some good coffee. Ooh, that's some good coffee.
Okay,
So-
so...
What's first on the agenda for today?
Well, the first thing on the agenda is why the fuck is my computer, my stream shooting itself?
Oh, no.
That's not good.
Shit, is this episode 11?
No, it's
12.
episode 12.
Oh, okay.
We talked about this 3 seconds ago, and
Yes.
it is episode 12.
Excellent.
Well, I have over 1,000 I've 90% of the frames have been dropped so far.
Uh-oh. That's
We
bad.
may
Is it
have-
even
you may have
going
to-
to Twitch right now?
It is going
It
to
is on
Twitch, yeah.
Twitch. I'm looking at it, though. It's in like slideshow mode. The audio is fine, but the video is not.
Well, that's not good.
It's not good at all.
It's very not good.
Weird.
I'm having connection trouble on Discord too, it looks like.
Welcome to
let's
the
try-
Graveyard Media
I have a really high
Podcast.
ping on Discord.
Let's try. Let's scrap this one and go and start over.
The record we're already live on stream.
I know, but nobody's come in, so maybe we should scrap it and try it again.
Well, I mean, if I'm dropping 90% of the frames, it doesn't matter if we start over. Other than the fact, other than the recording, I guess, but like I'm still dropping frames. Like right now. Like I'm watching the counter go up.
Right. I'm seeing the frames be dropped too.
Yeah, it was looking pretty slideshow.
My ping isn't great on Discord either. It keeps going down.
Weird.
I don't know what's happening today. Maybe my internet's shit. Whatever. We'll just go anyway. It doesn't matter.
It'll get fixed. Okay.
Welcome to Graveyard Media Podcast, where technical problems are the norm.
I wouldn't say the norm. So we're gonna
Alright,
start out
fair
with
enough.
games we've been playing this week. Games we've been playing and movies we've watched and TV shows we've watched and all that fun stuff. Then we'll go
Yeah,
to what's after that? Oh yeah, gaming news, and movie news.
Yeah.
And as you can tell, I'm really out of it today, so that's great.
Yeah.
But before we start, we're not going to go into it, but last night there was a huge tragedy in Vegas, so we're just going to do a moment of silence. Okay. Probably. Good. Yeah, our thoughts and prayers to the victims.
And their families, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna move on. So, who wants to start this week?
I think I'm gonna start up. Just with a. I know I started last week, but I'll just start. Me and Dalsson, because I want to get this one out of the way just
Oh,
as
yeah.
quickly as I can. Yeah. Okay, so me and Dalsson last night we watched all of the most recent season of Rick and Morty, and it was okay. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I think that most of the people who are saying Rick and Morty is shit now are just being contrarian.
Well, yeah,
Like,
and not only that, a lot of people hate Rick and Morty because of the fan base, and you know, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, okay, fair enough, but
yeah.
the show is okay. It's
I
not
don't
that bad.
really feel like it's dropped in quality either. People say that it's dropped in quality since.
Oh yeah, like
I feel like it's just about the same. It's
yeah,
not
it's not
fantastic, but it's good.
yeah. I mean, like there were a bunch of bad episodes in season 2. Y'all remember the fucking interdimensional cable too? That was kind of bad. Like, here's the thing. I feel like the reason that Rick and Morty gets a lot of hate, and similarly the reason that Rick and Morty gets a shit ton of love, is that Rick and Morty is sort of the Christopher Nolan of cartoon
God
shows. Let me
damn it.
explain what I mean.
Here we
Uh,
go.
So basically, Christopher Nolan, like when he made Inception, a lot of people went on about how Christopher Nolan was the most brilliant director, and like all of his movies were so smart, and watching them made you smart, because there are people who are actually legitimately not very intelligent who don't like it because it feels too smart for them. And then the people sort of on the other side feel like because those people don't like it, this makes them really smart, and they reach up to it like it's God, even though beyond it there are much better, more intelligent cosmic powers. Like BoJack, for instance, I would say is that. So yeah. It's just one of those things where people look at this as it's the end all be all of what there is, even though there is much better stuff out there. But it's not bad. Like Christopher Nolan, I mean, shit, it's okay. It's pretty good. They got good shit going on.
I feel
And
like
it's funny.
I feel like I'm one of the few people who just haven't, like, I'm not like, I don't know, I'm not knee jerk against it, but I have no real interest in it either. So I'm very like just not interested in it at all for some reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna
I
like
feel
jump
like
on you and
that's-
say you need to watch it.
Yeah,
So,
that's one of the most reasonable
Yeah.
responses I've heard about Rick and Morty.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know
most-
what it is. Maybe it's just that I was never one who really grew up on Back to the Future, and I think that from at least from the outside, it looks like it takes like most of its inspiration from that, just at least in the character designs and stuff. So
Yeah, a little
Um,
bit in the design, maybe.
Yeah.
well,
I mean, it was
100%
based
in
on
the
a-
design.
Yeah, it was based on
Yeah.
a Back to the Future parody.
And that's one of the reasons that I kind of really like this, is just because of the fact that it's very much, and Dan Harmon too, unfortunately, but it's very much Justin Roiland's project. This guy who went from making fucking dumbass cartoons back in like the mid to early 2000s during the whole big random core movement, when like Flash videos were getting really popular. This was a dude who did fucking House of Cosby's and shit. Like, he now has his
House
own
of
show on
Cosby.
television that's incredible. And yeah, actually, speaking of House of Cosby's, hey, asshole, when Dan Harmon fucks your show over and it's done, can you come back to it? We never got to see what fucking girl Cosby was pregnant with. Hey, I'm still hanging on my fucking seat here, dude.
I find
That's good Cosby.
I find it funny that everything that Justin Roiland is involved in has a society that is just made up of entirely Justin Roiland. Like,
just different Justin Roiland's going,
Yeah.
oh,
House of
no."
Cosby's, Adventure Time had all the lemon crabs, Rick and Morty has the Citadel of Ricks. Like,
Well, Rick and Morty's entire universe is just a bunch of Justin Roilands, and also the fucking
a couple of extras.
the girl who played Blonde Doctor on Scrubs, and whoever the fuck plays Jerry, and that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, and also fucking Zan and Claudia Black came on for a singular episode of Rick and Morty because fuck yeah, Farscape.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
So anyway, we talked about Rick and Morty for too long.
Yeah, I agree.
I have been playing Cuphead.
Oh, really?
In that one gaming journalist's defense, it is very difficult. but it
They
is-
actually said, the developer said that they changed the tutorial a little bit because of that. So it wasn't. They kind of were saying it wasn't just the journalist's fault that he was bad, even though it kind of was. But they kind of fixed parts of the tutorial too. I heard.
I did notice that. because I've seen that video a bunch of
Mhm.
times because I think it's hilarious. And I played the tutorial, and it was a little bit different, but I don't think it was a little bit different in the part that he got stuck in. It looked exactly the same there. It was a
Two and
little
a half
bit later.
straight minutes for a jump.
Yeah, it was a
Well,
little
sure,
bit later on.
that
There was a
specific
little bit
jump.
more.
Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know. I mean,
But they
some
did change a
people are
little
bad at some kinds of games, but
Yeah.
if that's the case, you probably shouldn't be the one reviewing that particular game. Maybe.
Exactly.
Well,
He
yeah.
also, in his article, I believe he wrote that it took him a long time to figure out that jumping on enemies' heads didn't kill them because
Yeah.
it was a Mario. Because it had a platform in it, so he assumed it was Mario because
Yeah.
all platformers are Mario. So like
Yeah.
he doesn't even know anything about the genre he was playing, let alone being good at the particular type of game.
Right.
Well, and I feel like this goes beyond like genre. I feel like, I mean, it's like you had to jump on one platform to get to the higher platform. This is like basic reasoning skills, my man. I mean, sure, like he was really, really, really bad at one.
Well, all of his deaths came from the enemies.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it was
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
He
yeah.
didn't know how to kill them.
And here's the thing, like in the stage that he was on, like I got stuck on that stage too, and kind of felt like an idiot. I got a lot farther with every like the first time I did it, I got a lot farther than he did, of course.
Mhm.
But like I also got stuck on the stage because it's kind of hard.
Mhm.
But yeah, one thing he was doing is like when enemies would walk off the screen and like very obviously despawn because they just weren't there anymore, he would stand and shoot at them for like 3 straight seconds while another guy walked directly towards him. And it was just like, turn around! It was, oof, that guy.
Ha! This flower's stupid, and he's a fucking idiot, and I killed him. Oh, there's one right behind me, isn't there?
Why did you get a vape thing that has a slide whistle in it?
It's not a slide whistle, it's a fucking turbine, and it was because I needed a new thing, and then
And this is what they had.
I needed a new atomizer, and I was like, just give me a new one. It just has to be rebuildable. I don't care. He's like, oh, here you go, man. And I was like, oh, thanks. And I pulled it out, and
It's
I
like
was like,
really
oh.
annoying. It takes the kind of I don't know, douchebag vaping thing to another level.
Good.
No,
My
here's
aesthetic.
Here's the thing. I mean, I can understand how this would be a douchebag vaping thing because you're thinking like, this is a sound that allows everyone to know that I'm vaping. And yes, but imagine this: clowns vaping.
No,
Oh,
it's
Well, that
fucking
was the best
BoJack all
mention.
over again.
killer clowns from outer space. Here we come.
Fuck! I was about to start singing the goddamn theme song to Killer Clowns Outer Space. I love that movie so much.
That was
Halloween,
a
I get to watch it
ridiculous
again.
movie.
Oh fuck! I think that's all I've done recently, aside from the other one that we're all going to talk about in a bit.
Right. Do you have any games or movies this week, Phil? Or Dalsson?
I finished up 9S's playthrough in Nier. It's like
Oh, I did too.
at the end. The ending of 9S's playthrough isn't significantly different from the ending of 2B's playthrough, but basically after you get past that point, it continues the story beyond what both of them experienced. So like,
Yeah.
it basically goes into Nier Automata 2,
Yeah.
and like I have to be real quick about it because there's nothing for me to discuss that is not absolutely massive spoilers.
Right.
But it like within the first 10 minutes of the basically second half of the game, it drops like 25 bombshells on you and you're like, oh god, oh, what's happening, all of this, oh god.
Wow.
I was like shell shocked once I got through the introduction.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, I also finished it. I haven't got as far as Dalsson has in the third playthrough. Like through the first 10 minutes. One of the things, there is a twist in 9S's route that there were some that I straight up called at the point that the introduction rolled. just because there were like some science fiction inconsistencies, and I was like, this doesn't seem right. I think this is going on. And that absolutely happened, and I just wanted to say that because I'm smarter than everyone. Look at me. I called the twist. I am the smartest human being that's ever existed.
You're so
I'm the
smart.
best.
You're making your camera autofocus over and over again.
Oh, are you serious?
You know, I feel like there's no point in overacting like this since we're dropping so many frames anymore.
They can see my hands
Well,
like move
it's
like
fine on the
this.
recording. It's gonna be fine on the
Okay.
recording. It's just that
Okay. Oh no.
Yeah, like-
let me. Yeah. Hold on.
It's
Let me
just
fix that.
70% of the frames are being dropped, so that's fun.
Oh yeah, it's on. Why is it autofocus on? Okay, it should be better now.
Because it comes
Skype
on no
turns
matter what.
autofocus on automatically, yeah.
Yeah.
I hate you, Skype.
I think it just
I
might be the
hate
I think it
you.
just might be the camera because it resets my settings like every time no matter what program I'm in, so
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Fair enough. It also does do it on OBS, which is
Okay.
a program I love.
Anything else, Dalsson?
I think
Guess
that's
not.
about it for me, actually. Sorry.
Okay, nope.
I intend to start Cuphead after I finish Nier, but I know that if I
That if you
start
start
Cuphead,
Cuphead-
I will never go back to Nier, so I have
Yeah.
to make myself finish it.
Yeah, and that's probably a good choice.
Yeah.
You should probably get like a whiteboard and just have like a list of 3 or 4 games and jump between the 3 or 4 games instead of just restricting yourself to one. You know what I mean?
I
Because if
can't,
you restrict
though.
yourself to like 4, then you'll have to complete the 4, but at least you don't have to do the same one.
Right, but in the time that it takes me to complete 4 games, 6 new ones come out.
Well, I'm not saying you complete all of them. I don't know.
We need like a letterbox for video games, and I don't mean like the social media aspect of letterbox. I mean like you can organize your films by every film ever made, so you can have like a watch list of shit that you gotta remember. That
You can
wanted
do that
to
kind of in
watch.
Steam, but
Oh yeah, all right, fair enough. Yeah.
I do have a section in my Steam that says stream options.
I feel like
All it's
that's
in there right
even
now is
more
Nier.
ignorable than just a whiteboard, though. I don't know.
Put whiteboard behind your like computer screen.
Yeah, something like that. On your wall or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so before we go into anything more specific than that, I'll go to, how about the Lego Ninjago movie?
Oh, did
Ooh,
you see
saw
it?
Yeah.
that? So tell us.
Okay. It wasn't that bad. Like it,
okay.
it has like a 50. I think it's exactly 50. On Metacritic or not Metacritic, Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Which is the metric that I use. But I could like it's definitely not as good as the other Lego movies, but it's not a bad Lego movie.
Okay.
And I think like we were kind of saying with Whiplash when it came to Kingsman, it's kind of the same sort of thing where it's if you compare the quality of this one to the other ones, then the other ones blow it out of the water, so it's not as good by comparison. But it's like compared to other like I don't know, animated kids movies, it's not that bad. So, I don't know.
Right.
I thought it was enjoyable enough, but like it's definitely not a must see. It's definitely like a rent. I don't know.
You just pick it up at the red box, like if you're
Yeah.
bored one night. You get McDonald's, you already hate yourself, you're like, fuck it.
Or if you
I ain't
do
doing
have
shit
kids,
tonight.
it's probably more
Oh,
worth
yeah.
seeing than that. But yeah, I don't know.
It'll shut
Well-
the little brats up for like 3 seconds.
Or if you see
Well,
movies a lot like I
Ninjago-
do, then maybe
Like,
see it matinee.
Obviously, Legos are marketed towards kids in the first place, but Ninjago is very particularly marketed towards children because ninjas are cool with an R in it.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
Reverse star.
I mean, I wouldn't even say that because, like, it's just one of their sets, right?
right,
So, I mean, they'll probably do something similar for like their night set or whatever. Like, it's just the ninjas are branded that way already. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just that Ninjago is one of the ones that really took off, like Bionicle did. It's like it
Yeah,
has like a
well,
very
they
long
kind of
running
forced it.
TV
They kind of
series.
forced it a little bit, I
Yeah,
think.
they really forced Ninjago hard.
And in fairness, it is not on the same level of as bad as the TV show is. Like, because the
Okay.
Lego TV show is like pretty bad. It's
Mhm.
definitely like kind of in the same wheelhouse as the other Lego movies. It's just not, and it's still in the same universe too. Like, obviously, still in the same universe. Um. So yeah.
The universe of Will Ferrell's basement.
Yeah. In the sense that they don't
Spoilers for
they
that
don't
one movie that
specifically
came out 20 years ago.
right. They don't specifically mention
That.
like master builders or anything, but they definitely have
Mhm.
pieces that are not Legos in it. So
Right. Okay.
and actually like it breaks the fourth wall a little bit. Well, I don't not the fourth wall per se, but I don't know. It breaks that barrier between Legos and real stuff a little bit stronger than the other ones. And in fact, the
Okay.
beginning of it starts with a frame story uh, with Jackie Chan in it. Because Jackie Chan plays the old master in the movie. Which is kind of funny. I also saw a little thing about it before the movie started, and it was all of the stunt choreography was done by him
That's great.
for Legos. So that's kind of funny.
All of the Lego stunt choreography. They're like, "Hey Jackie, can you like do a stunt and then we'll make the Lego do it too?"
Well, because what they did was he had a team of like 5 or 6 people do stunts that were recorded that were then used as reference to animate Legos.
That's
So-
great.
So, but yeah, so
Is
it
it like-
was. What?
No, that wouldn't work. I was gonna say, was it mocapped? And then I realized
No,
that
it's
wouldn't
not.
work
It's
with
not
Legos.
directly rotoscoped or mocap or anything like that, but it's definitely used as reference there. So, I don't know. It was pretty good overall. I enjoyed it. I would say that if you were to watch one Lego movie, watch the first one, unless you really like Batman, I guess. Then watch that one. But like the nice thing about Lego Batman was you could come into it really liking Batman or really liking Legos, and it would be fine. Whereas I think this one kind of has less appeal than that. I mean, I don't know, like ninjas. I don't know.
If you have to watch one Lego movie this year, probably watch Lego Batman. So that also
Right,
came out.
which also came out this year, which is kind of a crazy
Yeah.
thought, right?
Yeah.
'Cause
Welcome to fucking movies now.
I don't know, like
2
that,
Lego movies.
it already feels like that came out a year and a half ago, and that was
Does
like
that light up
February.
when you puff on it though?
No, it's just got like it reflects this light.
Oh, okay.
This light that you can't see. Movie magic. It's not there. It's natural lighting.
So I have some very quick breaking movie news that I think is really funny and depressing.
Okay.
Oh, shoot, hit me.
The My Little Pony movie leaked 30 minutes ago.
Ah.
The entire fucking movie.
Is it like a cam ripper? Or is it an
No,
HD?
it is like an HD.
This motherfucker doesn't
How?
even have a goddamn Rotten Tomatoes score
That
yet. They
said-
still have like a fucking.
That said, I looked at a couple of the links and they are all being taken down very, very quickly.
Are they gonna be back up in a matter of
I
40
mean, I'm
seconds?
sure they will, but they
and that-
are being taken down
Any
really
direct
quick.
stream links will be down, but it'll probably go up on torrents pretty quick if it was online ever at all for a second.
There was a Mega link that's already down. It got taken off Mega. That's pretty impressive.
Mega
Well, how
actually
the fuck?
actually ever since Kim.com got out of jail, like Mega's been super cooperative, but
Well, when you consider it's weird when you consider the fact that every single My Little Pony episode has leaked in the last season of the show. The fact that they are doing such a good job, at least for this half-hour period, of keeping the movie try.
Well, to be fair, most of the time it's like iTunes' fault or something, and they can't really control Apple. So, but
yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
Well, I just imagine fucking like Rebecca Sugar sitting there. I want to make a Steven Universe movie, and then fucking Lauren Zook from the future comes back like in a time portal.
No! Don't do it! It's just gonna leak!
You know what Cartoon Network will do? We decided that we'd put it online for 0.3 minutes, the whole movie, before it even goes in theaters. A month before it goes into theaters.
well,
nothing can go wrong.
Do you remember Aqua Teen Hunger Force put their movie in the corner of the screen and played the whole movie in the corner of the screen like a week before it premiered in theaters?
Do you remember the time that Rick and Morty posted an entire episode in 10-second blocks to Instagram?
Yeah. That was back in the first
Adult
season
Swim.
when it was...
So I don't know. Like, I know that technically Adult Swim and Cartoon Network are on the same channel, but they operate separately as different networks.
Yeah.
But Adult Swim in particular is really cheeky about stuff like that.
Yeah. They're like, fuck you, you don't get to leak our shit, we're gonna leak our shit.
Yeah.
But that being
like,
said, I don't know that Cartoon Network would take a risk on an animated movie again, since Powerpuff Girls like failed so hard, and they had a lot of confidence in the Powerpuff Girl movie, and it just did not work. So
yeah,
I don't know how willing Cartoon Network is to do that again, but.
They basically just release a Steven Universe movie every year anyway.
So.
They do like one Steven bomb, and that's basically a movie.
I heard that like they were going to do a movie at some point. I don't remember what it was, like what property it was, but I swear to God, I heard like the people were talking about the Powerpuff Girls movie because of the fact that like, holy shit, Cartoon Network's getting back on the horse. They're actually like doing a whole theatrical release movie. I remember where the hell I heard about this. I remember what the hell it was, and it could be a fever dream, but I swear to God I heard something.
I don't remember hearing anything like that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough.
Possible.
Because I can't even remember what the hell it was.
Yeah.
I mean, if I were to guess, I'd say a Teen Titans Go movie, but that doesn't sound right.
Please no. I don't
Please
think
no.
I don't think they would.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah.
Do you think it could have been Samurai Jack before they put out another
I don't
season
think
instead?
so. Maybe. I don't know. Because like it was always Samurai Jack was always going to be one season. Like that's what Cartoon Network had said, and like Gendy wanted to do it in one season. I feel like he wasn't given as much time in episodes as he wanted because
I still haven't
like,
watched it.
The pacing was really weird, and you know it definitely fell downhill from like the first 3 episodes. Which were incredible. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it had something to do with that. I don't remember, but I swear I heard something. Anyway.
Huh. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
How did we get on that topic? Why don't we move on to Star Trek Discovery? Have I played anything? I've been really fucking busy this week. Go ahead.
Before we start with Star Trek Discovery, hold on like 1 second. Let me just do this real quick. Okay, there we go. Now we can talk about Star Trek Discovery.
It's funny because we were actually noticing that too.
Oh, good. I'm glad I wasn't the only one.
You're like, what the fuck is with the angles on his camera?
Yeah, and my issue was not only that every other camera shot was like a weird Dutch image.
Yeah, the fucking
angle,
Dutch angles were
but
crazy.
But also I was like, they didn't even give us a good establishing shot, so I don't know what the bridge even fucking looks like.
Yeah, it was like really, really close up on all of them.
Not that it really matters what the bridge looks like now, but
oh yeah, fair enough. Do you mind if I start?
Go ahead.
Because
How
I actually
did you
have
think
a
about it? Will you fix your camera
so,
though?
All right.
I know
I
you're
won't
being
touch
silly,
it
but like.
Okay. All right. So first off, let me start up. I have like just a list of the good and the bad because I feel like that's good.
Real quick though. How many episodes did you watch?
I only watched the first 2.
Okay, we watched the first 3. And actually, my opinion of it changed a lot seeing the 3rd episode, so...
Okay. yeah, I'll start now just basically with like the
Okay.
pilot episodes.
That's
The
the thing.
good-
I almost think that the first two episodes aren't representative of the show. They probably
they're
came out with a
not.
pilot that was later on in the series. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
no, and not
there's
only
no
that,
way these first two episodes were a pilot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and not only that, but like because of like how it moves forward, everything changes from the
Mhm.
pilot. It's the weirdest shit.
Mhm.
I don't like.
It's just like an established. It's just like an established.
Yeah, it's like-
episode.
yeah.
It's not even that. It
The
doesn't
first
establish
two-
the actual stuff that's going to happen in the series. It establishes like a backstory, and like some shows would like put this as like the last episode of the season
Or the
Like,
origin
it's
or
like-
something.
Yeah, it'd be like they have like the episode where they get all in, and
I
you know,
didn't
they have,
really
like,
mind that, but it was definitely like it was sort of misleading. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
for sure.
Yeah. I got this list, and I will go down it. Good. First up, the makeup and effects look great. All of the makeup and effects look fantastic.
Still think the
I'll-
Klingons still look a little weird.
Oh
but
yeah. They look
Other
like
than that, I feel like everything looks great.
the Klingon design, I think, looks like trash. But I mean, the makeup itself is
Right.
really good.
Right.
They made them look good.
It was
for what
technically
they
good.
were. Yeah,
Yeah.
technically good on a technical level.
And it's not even
Um,
like that particular sect is just looks weird compared to other Klingons.
Yeah.
They all kind of look like that,
They
so
all
it's,
look like that.
kind of weird.
Yeah.
It starts out really strong. That opening scene before, like, the opening scene I really liked.
Reminiscent of Star
they go-
Wars too.
Yeah, they go to like a little planet because they have to save this race of people because they need them to get them water. I really like the design of like these weird creepy bug people. It looks really, really cool, and I love that.
Mhm.
And in this intro thing, the dialogue was not nearly as bad as I had expected it to be. There were a lot of throwing back and forth. I liked both of these characters in the intro. I want to specify, the intro to me feels like something entirely different than the rest of these two episodes. Doug Jones is really good in it. The
Mhm.
lady who plays the captain is really good in it. And a lot of all the character designs, aside from the Klingons, all of the people on the
I
Enterprise
actually
branch
really like
look
the
really
lead
cool.
character too, but
I
Oh, really?
Oh,
yeah,
God.
surprisingly so. I was not.
that
expecting
reminds
to-
me.
Oh, also
Speaking of
I know.
the people.
Yeah, I also
You know what
recognize
you?
her as Sasha from The Walking Dead.
Oh,
So
yeah.
she's actually
Um,
I've seen her before. Actually.
So that reminds me. You said the bridge crew. It wasn't the Enterprise. It was some other fucking
which
ship.
one? The Shenzhen?
Shinzo.
the Shinzo. Yeah.
No,
the,
it's
the first
Shenzhen,
ship.
but-
Shenzhen. That's it.
Shenzhen, yeah.
So there was a guy. You know, like the
Oh. Yeah.
the
okay.
the guy who was operating like the nav console or whatever.
Is Daft Punk
When that
there?
happened, so that character
No,
was
no.
talking.
She was like, yeah. The captain was like, put us to full impulse, and he was like, aye, captain.
And
And-
I was like, is that gonna be the Wesley of the series? And then later
And
on,
then
we realized
They
that.
called his name. His name was
It was
Whedon,
Wheaton, yeah. Yeah.
and we just had a good laugh about that.
But then
That
he
was
died.
good.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler. Okay, so
I
I
don't
finished
feel like
talking
it's okay
about
to spoil the pilot.
I
'cause
finished
it's not
talking
even
about the good. Unfortunately, that was that was the
Really?
good. That was the list of good. It was kind of small. The very beginning was exactly what I wanted from Star Trek. They're going to a planet and trying to help this species out with like a big, ecological problem. Let's go into the bad. First thing is something that we've already talked about. Why they go back into the past? Why are you doing this? Why can't you go forward into the future? I've said it a million times and I'm going to say it again. Why do you have to do that? It's kind of tired, but
What do you mean go back into the
I don't
past?
know. I don't like that either. The point in time it takes place is between between Enterprise and Next Generation, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, no, Enterprise and the original series.
Right. It's before the original series.
It's wait.
Yes.
Because remember, during the original series, the Klingon War was in full effect.
Yeah.
No, but this was. I thought they were already at peace for 100 years.
They were, and then this the pilot was the start of the Klingon War that takes
Oh,
place
right,
in
okay.
the original series.
Yeah, and what I thought, and what I thought
They weren't
is
at peace. The Klingons had just fucking disappeared.
Yeah. Well, here's what I thought, and I could be completely wrong about this, legitimately. What I thought about the Klingons was like the Klingon War started at first contact, because I remember the reason that the Prime Directive was put in effect was specifically because of the Klingons. Like, they did a bunch of stuff and they helped the Klingons out, and then the Klingons got really pissed and started a war because of a misunderstanding. And they were like, all right, listen, we gotta let these guys get to space before we do anything with them, or else shit like this could happen again.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
I thought
okay,
it was
says
like
it
at
does.
the first cons.
It does say it takes 10 years before the original series.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
Klingons
that's
are
fine.
obviously spacefaring and pretty advanced by now, so they must have started a war. The Klingons fucked off, and then because remember in the opening sequence, the Klingon that's talking starts talking about how the Federation's war cry is "We come in peace." So
Yeah.
so they obviously were already in a war with the Federation. Then they fucked off for 100 years, and now they're back.
I don't know.
That's why I was
it's-
confused about it, so.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and not only that, but they talk about like they actually started the war here. Like they were talking about it like they had like in the Next Generation, how it's really tenuous, like with the Romulans. Like they're not
Mhm.
actually at
That-
war, but this shit could go off at any point. And
That reminds me.
Yeah.
In I believe it was the first episode, there was a Klingon ship that uncloaked to attack I don't even know if they were attacking. I think it just uncloaked in front of them. I was almost 100% certain that the Romulans gave Klingons cloaking technology.
I mean, that doesn't really matter either way, though, because
Yeah.
it was one ship. It's not like all of the Klingon ships had it, so it could just
Right.
have been one ship that happened to have it through
Yeah.
some means.
But I
like, that's
wasn't
not a
even
big deal.
sure that it existed yet. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah,
It
I'm
struck
not. I'm
me
not
as weird.
totally sure about that either. Like as far as lore stuff goes, and I mean, if we want to really get into lore stuff too, like in Deep Space Nine is like the Deep Space Nine era is when they like sort of made holograms a thing, and like people are using holograms as 10 years earlier. So I mean, I don't feel like this is going in completely lore. And honestly, right now, I want to sort of look at it as its own thing. I feel like we can get into like this as Star Trek, but I do want to look at this as just like its own TV show before we start that. You know what I'm saying?
I
Just like
guess, yeah.
objective. So I'm gonna get into the bat.
Okay.
Why did we go back in the past? That was the first thing I had listed. The intro, I kind of had a problem with. The only problem I had with the intro is that it didn't have anything to do with anything and didn't pay off in any way, shape, or form, which is kind of weird because I mean, like,
What do you mean?
even the
Oh,
most
okay.
yeah, like even the most recent Star Trek movie, like the intro mission that they went on, they had like this artifact that they were trying to give to these like little jumpy guys, that ended up being a big plot point later on in the movie, and this just sort of didn't have anything to do with anything, and so I mean,
Yeah.
it was an introduction.
It was really nice to introduce the captain, but
yeah, and I really liked them in this.
I feel like the only reason that scene was in there almost was just to establish that the main character was smart. Like that's all it felt like it was for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm. But
so
I don't
it's-
know. It like in that introduction scene, it kind of established that the captain knew better than her.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because I mean, yes, but
I mean,
even
it sort of
then
established
it was
their relationship. You know?
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
but
Which,
eh.
in the end, doesn't really make an impact on the entire series.
Yeah.
Well, it
Because,
does
I
though.
mean, you
It
kind of
does though.
Yeah.
I suppose, yeah. That's true.
Because a lot of the effects of the second episode kind of carry on internally on the
Right.
character, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
And okay, these ones I have in straight up all caps, lots of Dutch angles when a normal ass flat shot would have been fucking fine.
See, that's a weird
every
thing.
shot
Like,
on this ship is
it's-
a Dutch angle. Why is every shot on this ship a Dutch angle? We know it's in space. We don't need to lean the
I
camera.
feel like it only did that in like the first scene on the bridge, and after that they chilled out with it. So I don't even know what was happening.
Which is really
with that.
strange because I feel like the angles would have made more sense during like the combat situation to show, oh my god, everything's going crazy. We don't know what the heck's going on. Everything's blowing up. Shit's happening. But instead
Plus-
they were just like using these angles and people were like,
just talking.
yeah, go to half impulse.
Yeah.
Okay, now lock phaser's on the target.
Yeah, it was very strange.
That was
especially
it.
especially since the it wasn't even a like the way they chose the angles for the Dutch angles weren't even good because what they did was they tilted there was one in particular I remember seeing that they tilted ever so slightly to the left so that it just felt like the whole bridge was sideways, which doesn't make sense because gravity.
Mhm.
So
Well, yeah, and not only that, well, and that's the reason that they were doing it is because they wanted it to feel like it was in space and like sort of
can you mute
stay
yourself when
floating.
you clear your
And,
throat, Dalsson?
and
Sure.
that is also, it was one of the things. Like I have these listed as Abrams Trek Dutch angles because Abrams Trek did this a lot, and that's probably
Not
why they were
as-
in there.
The
Not
thing-
as much, no.
No, like not even
Not
as
nearly as
jarringly.
much.
Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
so, and but I guess again, it was only really that first scene that they did it a lot. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they fired that editor. I don't know because it's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe that day of like the day of shooting they just shot and the whole like the cameras were off the whole fucking shoot and they only noticed at the end. I don't know. But it's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like that those first few scenes in the first episode was basically the only time it happened. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not
There-
even like
there
this
were-
was a
I
running
did-
theme with it.
I did actually notice that there were a bunch during like this later on in the first episode and like during the battle scenes and sometimes in the second episode. Though a lot of the second episode was a lot better with it. But yeah, it was real fucking
During the
Battlefield
battle,
Earth.
like I said though, during the battle scenes, I think it makes sense. It's trying to be chaotic, but while they're just doing normal bridge operations, like a good old fucking original series or next generation shot of just the whole bridge. Yeah, here I am working on my
Well, it
console.
doesn't even need
That
to be
would do
that. I mean,
fine.
you can like do like quick cuts between like a bunch of people. I mean, we
Mhm.
are living in a more like
But they should
television
if
is
they
more
were gonna
cinematic.
cut between specific angles, they should at least give us a good establishing shot so we know what the bridge looks like. Like
Yeah,
it
I
took
still
me a
don't
little
know what the
while.
bridge looks like.
Well, it took me a little while to even get a lay of where everything kind of was. So
Yeah.
I still don't know what the bridge looks like because another thing they did was they had the camera facing this way, flipped it that way, flipped it that way, flipped it that way, flipped it that way, like 10 times in a row, and I was like,
and it was
"Wh-
weird
wh-
because
where
feel
am I
like-
looking?
Like the Dutch angles were supposed to make you sort of feel like you're in like they're in space, so everything's like tilted a little bit. But like the thing is, like every time it would cut from like it's looking at this character, now it's looking at this character. It wouldn't be like it's looking at this character, now it's looking at this character, tilting in one direction. It would tilt in like all sorts of fucking weird angles, just
Yeah.
randomly,
Yeah.
which is probably why it was so jarring.
So that was the thing, editing shouldn't be that obtrusive. You shouldn't notice it that
Yeah.
much. Like it's
Yeah.
one thing for us to kind of be looking for how it was edited, and another thing for it to be so bad that we weren't even like looking for it and we're very like aware of it.
Very
so.
put off by it.
Yeah, like the instant I made that joke, I just put like the thing under my thing. You guys both immediately burst out laughing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
'Cause it-
okay,
yeah.
yeah, that bad, huh?
Yeah.
Second thought, and this was during like the Klingon thing. I didn't feel like the main actress was super good. She's been getting a lot of praise, and I don't see it. I don't
do.
really feel.
I
I
think
don't. Okay.
I think she's better than you.
I think she was a good actor. I think that some of her writing was a little weak because it was like, oh no, she's tormented by Spock's dad. Also, that's another thing. I think that when it was being like
Yeah,
being
that was also
listed
misleading.
or something. Yeah, that was completely. It was like she's Spock's long lost sister. First off, she's not.
She's
At
the
all.
first human
She's the
ever
first
to
human to
the
go to
academy in
go to a Vulcan
Vulcan.
Academy. Yeah, but
Well,
this was
she was
Hang
adopted
on.
by Spock's dad, but
this was
but
so
yeah.
long ago that her being the first one makes sense. It's not like oh, finally a human goes. Captain Picard sends a
at the
human to
same
the Vulcan
time,
Academy.
at the same time, like it does still like inform our like suspicions initially that like all
She's
of
kind of a
no matter
weirdo.
the context, right?
Mhm.
It still seems kind of an odd choice. And now that we
Yeah.
have the context, it doesn't seem as bad, but it was like it's still I don't know, a little convenient that she happens to be related to Spock, not directly, but through
like, you know,
through marriage or through adoption.
I don't know.
So, I
I
don't
don't know that he even adopted her. I thought he was just her teacher.
No, he adopted her. They said it.
Okay.
They said it explicitly.
Okay.
one here's a big sort of problem I had. Everything seems to be on a timer for like no explicit reason. Specifically in the very first episode.
Mhm.
There was the point in time where she went down to the thing and there was like a bunch of radiation. She had to get back in a certain time or else she died. Why? This adds nothing.
Well, it
Just
adds
doesn't
tension.
come back.
Well, it adds it adds tension, and she knew that
And
she could
that's
do it,
it,
and then she
though.
encountered that Klingon, and then she couldn't do it.
I mean, it adds tension, but here's the thing. It adds tension at this point. Like, this is, like, really early through the episode. It adds as much tension as all of the other stuff does, so there's no build-up to the big battles. So when you're watching the big battles, everything has been exactly on the same level of constant tension, and you're watching it like this.
I don't know.
Like,
I
there was
feel
a
like
little
there
bit of
still
build-up.
was a ramp in tension, but it was like a slow ramp.
Mhm.
Like, because like you said, I guess it already did start relatively high, but I don't think that was a major issue for me. Like, I don't know. It seemed
Well,
fine.
and also, like the radiation never really sort of affects the plot in any way, nor does her radiation sickness because she sort of gets cured of it. I mean, there's a point in time where she has to like go on the bridge while she has like radiation sickness.
Stuff
but
like
she
that
didn't
to me.
have to have it.
Stuff like that to me is more forgivable in the first episode, where they're establishing how characters react to specific situations, and
Right.
and actually, I said this when it happened. It was like, and this is before that I knew the full circumstances of like her parentage and whatever. I was like, man, she's really reckless for a Vulcan, and
Yeah.
it turned out that she's not actually like
She's
racially
not even
a
a
Vulcan.
Vulcan.
So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
um.
but I mean, as far as her,
it shows recklessness. It shows
well, I feel like
when
that
she
was
walked
also
out when
really
she was
set up.
only half healed. It shows that she was willing to like put herself in greater danger to kind of inform the crew and captain and whatever. So I think it did establish some stuff. Maybe it was done in too dramatic of a way. I'll give you, but I think that it was fine.
Well, here's the thing.
other
we
officer,
could say the same thing about like, you know, it was also established in the fact that she straight up took over the bridge and like the fact that she's willing to put herself in danger for like
But it didn't seem
for a bunch of.
But if they did that without establishing anything, then it would have felt out of nowhere, like out of left field.
Yeah.
She suddenly tries to take over the bridge. I don't know.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah,
at that point, it felt like she would do that to me.
Right.
Whereas
imagine
otherwise,
if-
it could have just been like, what the fuck?
Just to draw parallels, imagine if in the first episode Riker had thought that Captain Picard was wrong, and then he suddenly held Picard at gunpoint and took over the bridge.
Well, that's another thing, and I'll get to that a little bit later. The thing is, that probably wouldn't have happened at any point in the next generation.
No.
And that's and that's
sure.
the thing with the dialogue that I'll sort of get into later. There are other ways that she could have showed that she was reckless, and that could have probably been set up in like the previous little mission on the desert sands or whatever.
It showed her recklessness when she went out, when she was like, yes, I'm willing to go out for like 10 minutes.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
one of the things that they could have done is like they could have just been like, well, this is an anomaly. We don't know anything about it. It could be incredibly dangerous. Oh, I'm willing to go check it out, like in a straight up spacesuit. Like, no, we don't need to send a probe. I'll go out there myself because I really want to see it. Okay, I think sending a probe would be better though. Nah,
Well,
I'll
they
go
couldn't.
do
They
it
couldn't
because
send
I'm
a
the
probe.
best. They couldn't.
No.
They
Why not?
established
They
that
they
couldn't.
specifically couldn't send a probe because of the shielding. The
The-
same shielding that was
yeah.
scrambling their sensors
And-
would scramble a probe or a shuttle. The shuttle wasn't maneuverable enough for the asteroid field, and a probe would have been scrambled the same way.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but why
As
did
their
that have to
sensors.
be the case?
Because
I
it
mean,
wouldn't have made
because
sense
they
for a probe
wanted
to be
her
able
to be in the
Yeah.
spacesuit. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, like, but I don't. I mean, if you took away the fact that a probe couldn't do it, then there would be no reason for her to do it. Like,
Yeah.
because
they-
she,
like-
while she might be more reckless than most Vulcan, she still operates on some form of logic. And if like there was a way to do it safely without putting herself at any risk, then yeah, she would do that. Like,
Yeah.
I
Also,
don't
the
know.
captain would completely forbid it.
Right. Well, and yeah. Well, I don't know about that one, but I do agree. Okay, maybe if there was like a way to do a probe, and maybe if they did had like the field that stops, all of the communication and everything, but the radiation field I feel like was
Well, the
they put it
radiation.
on a timer that didn't need to be.
I mean, I guess that's a point that we're just gonna disagree on. I thought it was fine. Like, and I don't think the pacing was that terrible in the first 2 episodes either. So, do you have anything else before I go on to?
Oh yeah, a
little
lot.
further?
First off, now I can get into the dialogue. Okay, that was, where was I? Yeah, the dialogue has this crazy action movie intensity. Like, okay, in the original series, and I am going to get into a little bit of Star Trek just as like a comparative point.
Mhm.
In the original series, the discussion between like, let's say Captain Picard and Worf at a certain point, you guys know which point I mean, would have gone something like, Captain, listen, the Klingons only respect strength. This is what they respect, and we need to fire on them first before they fire on us. That is how they will respect us. Listen, Worf, there are many things that the Federation does not allow. That is one of them. If the Klingons fire first, then they will have
I
started.
mean,
the
yeah,
war with us.
we get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
I-
thing is,
Though
You don't have to
Captain
do a
Picard
radio
is so
play.
Captain Picard is so knowledgeable about other cultures that he probably would have agreed with Worf and fired first.
Well-
okay,
But
well, here's the thing. The point I'm trying to make is that these people have like these huge fucking like everything is spoken with such incredible intensity that I feel it doesn't need that. You
Here-
can tone it
okay.
down a little bit.
Here's
It's okay.
I do agree that it doesn't have the same flavor, like feeling or flavor as classic Star Trek, but at the same time, I don't hold that necessarily against it because
right.
Fair enough.
it is a modern show. It can be a little bit more modern in how it wants to deal with situations. And actually, there's a moment in episode 3 that I was like, wow, this almost feels more reminiscent of Firefly than Star Trek.
Right.
Because it is more about they have ratcheted up the drama a little bit. They have kind of modernized it, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing because it's a new Star Trek. It can approach it in a slightly different style.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I agree. But the thing is, I don't feel like it's technically really modernizing it, especially on like the level of a bunch of TV shows nowadays. Like if you look at Westworld, one of the most intense moments of Westworld is when what's her name? The lady who sits down with Dr. Ford, she's just talking about how she wants to like let Dr. Ford go and sort of push back the his new storyline, and then Dr. Ford just makes all of the robots stop as it's pouring her wine, and she realizes, wait a second, this is the exact spot I sat in when I was a child. We know everything about our guests, ma'am. Tell the board that my storyline will be finished on time. and it's this incredible tense moment, and it's very quiet and very soft
But
spoken.
I mean, but that wasn't the first episode. It took a while to build intensity. Like,
Fair
And
enough.
in the first episode of Westworld, they had like 10 fucking shootouts.
Well, here's the thing. In the first episode of Westworld, they had a incredible twist in the first 10 minutes. And actually, in the first episode, one of the most tense moments was immediately before a shootout, when Ed Harris was talking to, what's the character's name? The dude that hangs around Dolores. The like first twist in the first episode is when Ed Harris is talking to this guy, and you sort of realize what's going on, and it's also very sort of soft spoken, as you realize one character's completely powerless to do anything. It's really great, and no one yells, and it's so intense, and this movie didn't tried to be intense and sort of failed.
But during
I don't know. Go ahead, Dalsson.
during I don't know. I don't think everything has to be like that. Like during a situation where you've just discovered the most brutish warlike race in the galaxy, universe, whatever, has re-emerged after 100 years of no contact, and you know they're going to attack you, and your captain doesn't want to do anything about it. You're gonna start yelling at her, and then the captain was very like calm and collected the entire time. It was just that one character. Like that one character came in and was like, "Captain, we need to fire now." And the captain was like, "Go to my ready room."
She really wasn't, though. They were both yelling at each other.
Yeah, once they got to her ready room, but
and like, it's not as if previous Star Treks haven't had very action-heavy first episodes. Like in Voyager, there was also a very like major battle scene that starts right at the beginning of the series, and that establishes the setting. In Enterprise, they do the same thing. Like the main character is like a moron, but like I don't know. Like I think that it's a little bit like the series is still learning to grow on itself. Like it's not. I feel like yes, the first 2 episodes were weak because they are still kind of finding their role, right? They're finding they're kind of growing into the series, and sometimes the first few episodes were rough. The whole first season of Next Generation wasn't smooth.
Yeah.
So it's not as if it's that fair to compare the first 2 episodes especially to other Star Trek yet.
Okay.
And especially since
that's why I moved on to like Westworld.
And then the third episode actually changes a significant amount of what's happening.
It is pretty much. It almost feels like a different show. The third episode,
because the third episode, what it does is, so after the events of the second episode, she basically goes to prison. She's court-martialed, right? And the captain of this like mysterious ship that
mysterious research vessel.
Picks her up,
which is
kind of engineers her to be picked up so that he can take advantage of her abilities on his ship. But unlike basically any other version of Star Trek, it feels like you're dealing with the black ops of the Federation. You're dealing with the people who they don't like to talk about because they do fucked up shit. And it's kind of like a different take on Star Trek, because while it's while Star Trek has always been this very kind of optimistic show about kind of the bright side of the future. This is definitely like the black or gray side of the future, the stuff that they don't talk about, which is an interesting angle on Star Trek. That's not really that's not something
they go
that's
on
been
an
done
away
before.
mission. The basic plot, the bare bones plot of the
Their first away mission.
The third episode, yeah. They go on an away mission. It's not onto a planet, it's onto a derelict. And they want to figure out why it's a derelict. And they go in there and
it's
everything on the ship is just slaughtered.
It's basically a horror movie plot. It's really kind of interesting because it's like that was what was giving me Firefly vibes. It was like when they were going onto the ship and it was a Reaver ship and there were weird things on that ship and they didn't like know what was happening. And there were claw marks and stuff in the walls and it was like, what the hell is happening? There's mutilated corpses. It was like that. It is not it is completely different from other Star Treks in kind of an interesting way. And I don't know.
A decent amount of that scene is relatively quiet until they encounter whatever did it.
And the weird thing is, they're better at establishing shots. You know what the hallway that they're in looks like. A lot better than you did what the fucking bridge of the ship did. So, I don't know. Like, the editing got way better. The tone got more interesting to me. It's, like, that's why I'm saying, like, these first 2 episodes couldn't have possibly been a pilot, because a pilot is supposed to kind of be reminiscent of the rest of the show, and the rest of the show isn't like the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, and so why was it the pilot? Why did they do it like this? It's
really weird.
So it's not the pilot though, right? Because the pilot isn't necessarily the first episode.
What Saine means is it's not the episodes that they pitched it with.
Right. It's the first 2 episodes that they kind of establish the situation that she's in. And I mean, they could have put her, I mean, it's the same thing as, like, Voyager, right? The Voyager didn't start out with them in the middle of nowhere trying to get home. It did start out with them establishing why they were in the situation that leads to the rest of the series. So, like, I can kind of see it, but at the same time, it's part of the reason why you probably shouldn't review things based on the first episode, right? The first single episode.
Yeah.
So... I think it's gonna be one of those situations where we have to give it a little bit more time to see how it shakes out, because the first 2 episodes in particular, totally different from what seems to be where the series is heading based on the 3rd episode.
I wasn't really interested in watching it at all, but then I did, and I was like, in the first 2 episodes, I was like, okay, and then I think... we didn't even know there was a 3rd episode, and then you were like, do you want to watch the 3rd one? And I was like, I guess.
Well, I don't know.
And then...
We did kind of just see it, and we were just kind of like, let's just watch all of them, but...
Right.
I'm actually definitely more interested in the series having watched the 3rd episode.
For sure. I thought, I agree with most of your points if you disregard the 3rd episode, though. Okay.
I would too.
I feel like the characterization even got better in the 3rd episode, just because there were more characters for her to play off of. The characterization of the main character, that is.
Well, I feel like she played off really well with the captain and Doug Jones's character.
Doug Jones?
He's the guy...
Tall alien dude?
Yeah, the tall alien dude.
He survived.
Yeah, so, I know. And
he's on the Discovery.
So yeah, I am happy for that. I was afraid because I'd heard like that this was a little bit different. That like she already, because I mean this show is called Star Trek Discovery, and they were talking about how they go on the Discovery, and it's like, this isn't the Discovery. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
well, it's.
I mean, it's called Star Trek Discovery for a reason, because the ship...
Star Trek's always named after wherever they are.
Yeah.
Except the Next Generation, I guess.
But, like...
Welcome to the USS The Next Generation. I'm Captain Picard.
Enterprise The Next Generation, produced by Rick Berman.
But yeah, like, I don't know.
So we couldn't fit that all on the side of the ship.
Yes, we could.
I don't know, the Discovery, it's aptly named because it is a different kind of Star Trek ship for multiple,
it's not
more than one reason.
What I find interesting about the Discovery is it's not like it's a science vessel, but it's not like the Enterprise. It's not a peaceful exploration type vessel. It's a
like,
science vessel that's dedicated to research within the vessel.
It's like if okay, this is what it feels like to me. It's like if a season of Star Trek started on the fucking System Shock place. Like it feels
Yeah.
pretty,
yeah.
like
That's
it,
pretty.
it feels like an accident waiting to happen almost.
Oh, for sure.
So I would give it at least the third episode because I don't think it
Mhm.
really shows its colors until the third episode.
Yeah. If it doesn't capture you like at all in the third episode, I would say maybe drop it. But there are at least some concepts in there that seem like they could go places that are much more interesting than we're on a ship and we're at war with the Klingons.
And I think the reason why they might have been more willing to go heavy into establishing episodes right at the beginning of the series is because it is Star Trek, right? Like, Star Trek has always kind of had a history of, like, taking a while kind of grab people anyway.
Yeah.
So, like...
That's true.
And then running forever, right? Pretty much every season of Star Trek, other than, like, Enterprise, ran for fucking ever.
Yeah, like, Deep Space Nine had 7 seasons.
Yeah, and I think Next Generation had, like, 6 or
7 seasons.
Yeah, 7 seasons too. So
like
hundreds of episodes.
Yeah.
So even Voyager, and I feel like Voyager could have ended sooner than it did. It kind of dragged on a little bit.
Did they ever get home?
They did.
Yeah, excellent.
Um,
I'm glad for them.
And yeah, I kind of agree that I wish that it wasn't taking place as a prequel. Especially
I feel like
with the bent of what the Discovery is. Like what the Discovery is working on.
The Black Ops research ship though wouldn't have made as much sense
unless it was during a time of war. But
day.
but I mean in the present day you could have established a reason for another war. It's not like
that's true.
I mean, they had the Romulans and the Cardassians. You could have been at war with either or both.
Well, here's the thing. What they are researching,
Borg,
which I'm not going to say what it is, or the Borg, yeah. Actually, what they are researching might have been very useful against the Borg.
That might have been an interesting angle.
What they are researching does not make sense for them to research later on because the technology progresses very far past that in the future of Star Trek. So
does it though?
Yeah. I mean, there are episodes in I'm not even going to say which Star Trek because that might spoil what they're researching, but there are episodes in Star Trek series that kind of establish that this technology that they're using is dangerous if they overuse it, but it's a very common thing that they have, all the time. And what they're researching is basically just...
I mean, most of what I've watched of Star Trek was as a kid, so
later.
I don't remember a lot of specific lore details, but...
Well, you remember what they're researching on the ship, right? It's not a weapon.
Oh, in the third episode, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, you probably shouldn't have said that, but...
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and here's the thing: they probably could have just researched something that was a little bit forward if they moved it forward.
Yeah. Well, they could have done it in a similar way. Like because what they're researching is something they would always need to improve. So it's not like they couldn't have come out with that, and it is not. But the thing about the what they're researching in the Discovery is not to the extent that they have in the future.
That's true.
So it seems like their version of what they're doing is a little extreme, even compared to like Voyager. So I don't know.
I suppose it would have. Never mind. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I know it would have straight up. That would have straight up invalidated Voyager, but yeah. Anyway, I think that it's worth giving at least to the third episode because I feel like the third episode is actually the pilot. It actually establishes what the show is about.
And that's not just saying, Thel, you should watch the third episode. You might like it better. That's just
no. This is to everyone
general,
who's watching.
yeah.
Like it.
I do think that you should at least give the third episode a
Mhm.
shot because I think
All right.
everything improves. But
Okay.
Yeah, like almost weirdly so.
yeah,
I was just really not.
I don't
impressed
think
with
there
the
was
first two.
I don't think there was a single angled shot in the last one.
Well,
except
except
maybe in the ship.
maybe in the away
Yeah, in
mission.
the derelict.
Yeah. But that was because like that was for multiple reasons.
That does
Yeah,
make
and-
sense. If it's
well,
a
yeah,
derelict,
and-
maybe even the artificial gravity isn't working properly.
Yeah, and
you know?
that's where like a Dutch angle might work really well. It was
Well,
just,
especially in the
especially-
situation when, in fact, actually there might have been Dutch angles, but we didn't notice it because it was already
and
built
it
like a
made
horror
sense
scene.
in context.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was already built like a horror
movie.
scene, so it would have Dutch angles kind of as a
yeah.
Yeah.
normal technique of that. But it wasn't extreme that we even noticed it, so even then it's like
Yeah,
if it does have Dutch angles, it's still not even to the kind of level that the first episode was. It was, you know what was kind of weird? I think so. Okay, maybe this is like a, I don't know, kind of conspiracy theory, or kind of like a, I don't know, kind of a trying to get too far into the heads of the showrunners or whatever. But it almost feels like the first two episodes were done in that way to establish what Star Trek is, especially the movie versions of Star Trek, because there was lots of like lens flares, there was lots of like Dutch angles for no reason.
yeah.
There was a lot of it was very like action packed the whole time. Maybe that was done to contrast what the show is actually going to be in the future, because if the first two episodes were shiny, then the third episode definitely feels matte. Does that make sense?
Oh, for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
well, and here's the thing, and like you guys were talking about, like maybe this was the pilot episodes were shot after. Maybe, the like last episodes still have a little bit of those remnants of what Brian Fuller wanted the show to be. Because the thing is,
Maybe.
the first two episodes were very Alex Kurtzman. I could feel his disgusting fingers rubbing my fucking face as I watched the show.
Well, that's the thing. Again, it almost feels like those were kind of set to contrast it, because the third
Yeah.
episode seems
It's
so different.
definitely a huge.
Well,
like,
yeah, and then the way
in
like
the,
you
in the
described,
Discovery,
like,
they have a they have a thing called Black Alert, which I'm not even going to say what it is because that's kind of the point of the third episode. But they have a thing called Black Alert, and one of the characters is like, "They didn't brief you on what this is. I can't tell you. I'm sorry." And then she lays down, and all the lights go out, and everyth's just like,
And the main
really
character's
dark
just
and-
sitting there
and
going, "What the
fucking scary,
fuck is
and the-
happening?"
and the main character's like, "Why is everything so dark?"
that is like, oh, can we leave and can we leave just anytime we want? Yep, unless war were declared. What does that bright blinking light mean? War
were declared.
No, yeah, no, but you guys are describing like this spooky interior with all of the bodies and stuff, and I'm thinking, yeah, that sounds like Brian Fuller. Yeah, that's something
Well,
he does.
I mean, I don't know.
Mm.
It feels like it's in context, though. It's not random.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. And Brian Fuller's stuff is always very, very contextual. Like, there's always reasons for all of his really spooky shit to go
No, but I
down.
mean, even to a whole of what they're doing, it feels appropriate
Mhm.
to establish what's kind of happening. It does. I don't know. It doesn't feel like.
To establish basically what the Discovery kind of does.
Yeah,
Right.
it doesn't. It
Like-
doesn't seem like it. What is there to be gross or to be spooky or whatever? It seems like it's there for a reason. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, no.
So-
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's just the kind of stories that Brian Fuller tells. Like, he tells stories that involve this sort of thing and that sort of aesthetic. Like, when I was looking at the bug creatures in the very first, like, beginning of the first two episodes, I was like, wow, that creature is kind of weird and kind of spooky and off-putting, but it doesn't seem like it's trying to hurt anyone. It looks like it's a good guy. It looks like these guys like it and think it's a good guy. That seems like something Brian Fuller would do. This is a good sign. Maybe it's, and then it just sort of goes off. So.
Now,
Yeah.
the Prime Directive was established by this point, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they said like
The Prime Directive's been
1 or
around
something.
basically since the
Directive
Federation has.
1, right? Yeah.
Well, again, the
since
Prime
the
Directive
since the
was-
Klingon War, it was because
Yeah.
it was because the Klingons attacked them.
yeah, when they
Oh,
interfered with Klingon stuff, they
Yeah,
were like,
yeah.
they
Oh, maybe we shouldn't do this again.
yeah. no, we don't want to fucking do this again. We're friends with the Klingons, but that took 222 fucking years. Worf
Which
was like the first
makes you
Klingon
wonder what's
officer
gonna-
in Star Trek.
Which makes you wonder what's gonna happen with Discovery, because
Yeah.
what? Because
I mean, I'm sure they're going to get into fights with Klingons.
No, but I mean, while it starts at the beginning of the series, because of some of the weird shit that happens in Star Trek, like I could see them being displaced quite a bit, possibly.
you know,
And that's one of the things like I'm thinking about it and talking about it like this. I'm sort of thinking about it, and I almost feel like I would have liked it if it set up Michael Bachman was your character's name?
Michael
Yeah,
Burnham.
Michael.
Yeah, Michael Bachman.
Burnham, but
Burnham. Thank you. Anyway, if it sort of set her up as like a Worf, like she's a character who has this tragic backstory and had something to do with the start of the Klingon War, but she was almost a side character, where they're like super Michael Burnham heavy episodes.
again,
but
the third episode kind of
does sort of
establishes
do that?
why we're focusing on her.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
because
yeah,
it's very much about like how she is reacting to what the Discovery is doing.
yeah, it's not.
Okay.
It's not like the show is about the Discovery, but it's about her being on the Discovery, which makes sense because the Discovery is supposed to be very mysterious, and she was basically picked up off a prison ship, and she has no idea what's going on in it.
Well, yeah.
So-
No. Here's what I mean. If like the series evolved to that point, is what I'm saying. Like if
Right.
we sort of have like the establishing what the Discovery is, like we're seeing it from her perspective because we're also learning what the Discovery is, right? She's like a newcomer to it. She's coming onto it, and then she's experiencing it. But later on, as the series goes, it sort of becomes more ensemble and less focused on her.
It might.
I mean, it might.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's only the third episode, and
Yeah.
there's already characters that are notable
although I don't-
in it. So
Yeah, I don't know though. It seems like most of the people on the Discovery are kind of assholes.
Mm.
well,
Well, to
I
her
don't know.
because
The science officer is the biggest fucking douche knobbler ever. I hate
mean,
him.
well, here's the thing. I mean, this
he
bitch
also
did
holds
in
very
fact
interesting
start a
ideas. But
No, he wasn't like a douche to her. He's just a douche in
Yeah.
general.
no, and actually, that is kind of the
Come
thing.
on,
like,
Morty. We need to go to the Star Trek Discovery now.
No, and it has one of
He's
like,
also fucking idiot.
already
Uh.
it has one of the most interesting captains of all of the Star Treks, in that he doesn't seem like a good guy.
He's kind
like,
of a fucking nut job.
The captain is like, he's definitely not like Picard. He's definitely not like even Janeway. Janeway was kind of like a young, reckless captain, right?
Yeah.
He's kind of like, he's like if you put a war general in charge of a fucking science ship. It's weird.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I really like the captain of the new ship, the Discovery.
I agree.
Yeah.
I like him in a way that like you're not really supposed to think he's a good person, but that makes him interesting.
It's
Okay.
like, yeah, it's actually like a more asshole version of Malcolm from Firefly.
Yeah. It's like you wouldn't like him if you
Met him.
were there talking to him, but as a
Yeah.
character he's pretty
He's very interesting.
enjoyable.
Right.
Yeah.
He's very interesting to watch, but he doesn't seem like a good person, which is kind of interesting for Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Because
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think they've ever had a captain who is a bad person.
If I had stopped at episode 2, I would not be interested in watching more, really. Like,
Mhm.
I might watch it anyway, but it's not something I would look forward to. Whereas after watching the third episode, I'm actually eager to see where the series
Yeah.
goes now.
It might
So-
get better, it might get worse.
Yeah.
We just
But-
don't know.
Yeah.
I think that giving it watching to the third episode is definitely recommended, because the third really sets the tone of the series, whereas the first two
Yeah.
was just kind of
Don't.
setup of
Well,
why
here's the
they
thing.
were
I
there.
haven't seen the third episode, but I would go so far as just skip the first two. Like,
Maybe.
I'm pretty. Well,
Maybe.
here's the thing, because I'm pretty sure, like at least from the previews that I saw, like because it did the previews at the end of the first two, it's like this is what's happening in this season in Star Trek Discovery. Like it puts her on like the prison ship, and the people are like, there she is. She started the Klingon War.
The
It's like,
only issue I would have with saying that you should skip the first two episodes is they do establish a lot of specifics about especially the villains, the Klingon villains. They establish a little bit about how
their motivations and stuff.
yeah, their motivations, her relationship with her Vulcan dad. Like
Yeah.
I think that there's still enough in there that you probably don't want to, but will want to just skip them. But you have to sit down with the intention of at least getting to the third episode. Otherwise,
Yeah, you have to
you'll
like
fall
kind of
off,
know,
maybe.
hey, these aren't gonna be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
gonna at the very least not gonna be representative, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe even just like wait until the series is over, watch the whole not the series, the season.
The season.
Watch the whole season, then go back to the last two episodes and pretend they were like the season ender.
I don't think that the order would have made a difference. Like the first two episodes were just not great, and I just don't. I think that watching them at the end as like flashback episodes,
Especially
wouldn't
after
have
watching,
made-
especially
wouldn't have
if
made a
the finale is good, right? If it has a good finale, watching those two, the first two would be a bummer. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I feel
Yeah.
like you just need to buckle up and just be like, I'm acknowledging that these first two episodes aren't going to be great. Like, I think
Yeah,
that's just what you have to do. I don't know.
But yeah, hopefully it does get better, because it would be nice to have a good Star Trek show. Though I don't expect it to, and going in like I don't expect it to be like hard sci-fi. But thankfully, it's not like we don't have hard sci-fi. New Blade Runner came out, was really good. Arrival was incredible. We
Oh.
have.
I mean, technically, it comes out this Friday.
But yeah, it
or
comes out this Friday.
Thursday.
It's
People have been calling it a fucking masterpiece.
No, yeah, it's fucking. Everyone has
I
said.
don't know.
Everyone has been
great.
going crazy for it.
I'm really excited to watch it.
I feel
Same.
like the third episode sets it up. It's obviously not hard sci-fi like the Next Generation, diplomatic treaties with crazy aliens. But it's
That's what hard sci-fi is.
okay.
No,
then
but
never
it seems like
Forget
it
what I'm
seems like no. I see what Dalson's saying. It feels more like
Okay.
hard science in the sense of something like Interstellar.
Mhm.
In that
It's not going to.
it's going to be about
the third
technology,
episode's-
not about
Yeah,
diplomacy.
exactly.
Oh, okay.
It's-
Okay.
The Discovery is a research vessel, and they establish very hard that this is going to be a show about
Science.
what the
Yeah.
implications of the research that the Discovery is doing.
Right.
Okay.
It
And yeah,
is.
that does sound a lot more interesting than the first two episodes, which were, we're going to war and we need to shoot at the Klingons. Which,
I mean,
Right.
based on the captain, I'm quite certain that there are going to be space battles. He seems like the kind of person who would be like, a space battle, let's go
No,
join
like it feels like if he were the captain when she was telling him to fire on the Klingons,
He'd have been like,
wouldn't
yeah,
hesitate. He would just be like, I think you're right, and then just fucking shoot him. Like,
Yeah.
Which,
But-
truthfully, may have actually avoided the Klingon War in the first
it
place.
would have, yeah.
Yeah.
Straight up, because that Klingon general didn't have the support until after he talked to them.
They
Mhm.
said, what? Yeah. Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
they had just straight up killed him, the other Klingons wouldn't even care. 'Cause they didn't like
Yeah.
him. So
They didn't like
Yeah.
him, and the other, yeah. Let me talk about the Klingon design real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
There's one thing I want to point out.
Mhm.
A complaint that a lot of people had an issue with the Klingon designs in the original series were that they were incredibly fucking racist. Every single Klingon looked like Genghis Khan. There was no variation. They were just Genghis Khan.
I'm
That
glad
was
we're
it.
going back to
And it was
form with these
extreme-
Klingons.
Yeah, these Klingons, even though this is only a 10-year period before they all genetically modified themselves to look exactly like Genghis Khan,
And I
Genghis-
was wrong. They didn't
Genghis Khan.
start with the head ridges in the Next Generation. They actually started with Star Trek: The Motion Picture. I
Okay.
apologize for my.
For misleading
Instead-
us two in particular, right?
and it feels like they I don't know, like they did a good job of addressing it as the series went forward, and in this one they don't look like racist caricatures of Chinese people. They look like racist caricatures of black people instead. It doesn't make
I don't
any
know
sense.
if I would even
Like,
go that far.
They just all look like African tribesmen. Every single one of them, and they all look
I don't
the
know.
same.
I wouldn't quite.
I
go
wouldn't
that
say
far.
they all look
It's-
the same. They do have like different skin tones and stuff.
I also wouldn't say that they're like I don't know, racist against black people. I don't know. I think you're going a little bit far on that, personally.
I don't know. It's weird. I mean, if that's what they look like, that's what they look like. But it just seems like they changed the design so heavily, maybe to avoid them all looking like Genghis Khan.
Well,
And then they just changed it to something that's I don't know, that is
well, and this
first
is
off
another thing.
completely
Here's the thing.
different.
Klingons did happen. There were Klingons in the second Abrams Trek movie, and they
Mhm.
did look a little bit similar to this.
Really?
And that's probably what they're doing. They're trying to make the Klingons
Maybe.
look more like the Abrams Trek movie, which honestly is kind of weird.
well,
I don't
if
understand the decision to do this.
I mean the decision, I think that Dalsson might be right. They're trying to avoid making him look like Genghis Khan, like in the first original series. So
that's fine.
I mean,
makes-
because yeah, I don't know.
It would
I
make
wouldn't say
sense
that
if
what
it
they
were-
changed. I wouldn't say that what they changed them into is different racial stereotypes, but I do think that they were trying to avoid the original racist stereotype. So
Yeah.
Well, see,
Well, here's
it
the
would have
thing.
made sense to me because there are 24 houses in the Klingon Empire. It would have made sense to me if that house all looked like that, but it's just all of them.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. What I'm kind of weirded out by is why didn't they, like, especially if they're going to do like they don't look like the original series, they have the head ridges and blah 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 blah. If they were just going to do that, why didn't they just do exactly what the Next Generation did? Why didn't they just make them look exactly the same?
maybe the
They
point
coulda.
was to make them look different enough that that they could have something to change into. You know?
I guess.
Maybe.
Because if they want to stay like in continuity, then eventually they do change their genes, right? So
Yeah.
they should look
Klingons
like
are
something
stupid
else,
and
so they
pleasant.
could eventually look like that, but they still have to look like aliens. So I guess this was the compromise that they decided on.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I wasn't aware of where it took place exactly in time. So this actually makes more sense to me now than it did when I was originally seeing it, because I didn't know the context of where it took place in the timeline. So I
Right.
don't know. I'm more okay with it now, kind of understanding where it is in the timeline. But
hmm
even still, they don't look like Klingons for one way or the other.
hmm
I mean, they just don't. So
Which
Yeah.
there
Oh, well.
wasn't. What, there was one Klingon in the last episode, right? Or in the third episode? He was
No?
on the away mission. Yes.
oh yes,
Yeah, he was on the
okay.
away mission.
But he was
died.
in a dark room and he died immediately. So I don't know.
They
Which
were
we
like,
probably
a Klingon, look out!
We probably
He was
should-
like, shh. They were like, what the fuck is he doing?
well, don't
and then he
don't
died.
talk about specific plot.
It was
points
funny.
Of,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
you need
I
to be
just-
careful
I-
with that, Dalsson. Like not
know, I
talking
know.
about specifics.
I don't know, that wasn't exactly a plot point.
Well, yeah, but it was a reveal. I don't know. He gave away the joke of how he gets murdered.
Oh
I'm sorry.
no.
I don't know. Watch the
Oh.
third episode. It's actually worth it, I would say.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
then
it is.
from based on that episode, you can decide whether or not you want to keep up with it. But I don't think it's fair to judge the series on the first two episodes. I just don't.
Definitely not.
Yeah. The first two episodes were not super.
Okay, so I think that we're gonna take a break.
Okay.
And then we'll come back. I think I'm gonna turn off the stream and then try to restream again because it is still dropping frames. So I think maybe if restarting OBS might help.
Yeah. Usually resetting OBS is.
Although I think it's my internet because Discord's having high ping too, but I don't know. And I don't want to go as far as actually resetting my router. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that'll take a while. What time do we want to come back? We're taking.
Make it 6.
What?
6 even? 6 even?
I'd rather not go that
Or
late.
is that too long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we just go to 55?
Okay.
Yeah,
Is that
we can
okay?
take a short break. Yeah, just a little break.
Okay.
I don't have anything to do during the break anyway, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna grab something to eat. But...
I'm probably just gonna use the restroom, maybe grab an apple or something. So yeah.
Okay, we will be back in 8 minutes.
Okay.
Catch you guys
We
soon.
will see you guys all soon.
And we're back.
Yes.
And hopefully, nope. Never mind.
We're not back?
No, we're back, but I was gonna say hopefully we're gonna stop dropping frames, but we're definitely dropping frames still. So
Oh no.
if like 80% of the frames are being dropped right now.
Well, that's okay. We have
It's
we have
better
more
than earlier.
No, it
it's
isn't.
not. It was
Oh,
70.
it's not.
It's just as bad.
All right, never mind. Fuck.
Yeah.
Luckily, we have more recording viewers than live viewers. You're sure the
Yeah.
recording's okay?
Yeah. Well, I'm not
Okay.
sure, but it's
Yeah.
probably fine. So, okay, for the last hour or so, we're probably gonna go a little bit late because we started a little bit late today. So, talk about gaming news.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll start with gaming
let's start
news.
with gaming news. Yeah.
I don't think there's much to talk about today.
There's not.
What is this Left Alive thing? Oh, that was from last week. Okay, so
you linked it, man.
yeah, no, I was confused. So the first thing is Stardew Valley is releasing this week on the Nintendo Switch,
Switch.
which
Oh,
is
okay.
really great.
Yeah, agreed.
Agreed.
I was like, wait,
Stardew
Stardew
Valley's
Valley was
great.
finally released. Was that shit in early? I don't think so. I thought it came out late. What? Oh,
Yeah, no, that's great because Stardew
Yeah.
Valley is one of those games that I do want to take places with me.
So it comes out on the 5th, which is a Thursday, and it will cost $15, which is actually pretty good for that.
Isn't
Yeah.
it cheaper than the PC release? It's
it
usually
might
more
be.
expensive.
Not,
It might be cheaper.
I'm not sure. I think
PC
maybe
it's either
the
cheaper or equal.
I think it was 20 on the PC when it came out.
Huh.
I can look real fast to see how much it costs. No, it's 15 on PC too.
Weird.
Maybe it was 20 when it came out and it went down to $5.
Ha.
Hey,
Maybe.
isn't multiplayer supposed to come out?
Soon, TM.
I thought I heard
Yeah.
that it was coming out on the PC first, and then it would be included with the Switch version.
Maybe, but
I do not see anything about multiplayer there right now, so
yeah.
maybe that is not true any longer.
How do you even multiplayer? How would a multiplayer version of that game even work? Do you each have your own farm or
No, it would probably be sharing a farm.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't that work? You would just split the money. Like all of the upgrades and stuff are for I mean, I guess other than like seeds, all of the upgrades is for the buildings, right? So
Yeah.
It
that's all
okay,
you really
so
use money for.
so on their website it says that in early 2018 they will release it as a 1.3 patch. So early next year is the estimated multiplayer release date.
What's the date on that?
early 2018.
No, I mean, when was the last?
Oh, on the article, August 1st. So
Okay,
a while ago.
Yeah. Let's hope they can meet their deadlines.
I'm sure.
It's like the Punisher trailer.
When has Chucklefish ever had problems with deadlines before?
I mean, I'm just thinking of like the Punisher trailer that's like coming out.
Chucklefish is a publisher. Like,
yeah,
they wouldn't really be involved with the development necessarily.
Yeah, that's true.
Concerned Ape has been pretty good about his development.
Yeah, no, he's been good.
Concerned Ape.
I think lately it's mostly been like language stuff, but that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's some Splatoon thing. Also,
the new Splatfest in Europe is Pearl thinks that it's better that the toilet roll hangs in front of the toilet paper, and Marina thinks that the roll should be hanging behind. Now, basically what this Splatfest devolves into is, are you right, or do you want to fuck Marina?
Yeah, exactly. Basically.
And I think Marina has a pretty good chance here.
Yeah, well, no.
As she always does.
Remember, the people who really love
yeah.
i.e. Japanese people who come in flooding American and European servers to make sure that Pearl wins, are just gonna kick the shit in the game out of the Marina player.
Yeah, they'll get matched immediately against some Marina players. They'll win every time, and then all the Marina players are gonna be like, oh shit, I can't get a game. So they'll never have a chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
Just like last time.
So, we talked about that. That was a thing that we said. The next thing I want to talk about is Bluehole, the publisher for PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, spun PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds out into its own company, so it's now PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds Corporation. Because they probably were a segment that was making so much money that it made sense to separate them from their other development projects.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that does
understandable.
Make sense.
So that continues the ongoing story that PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds is insanely popular and will continue to be
the biggest fucking game ever.
And is making fucking money. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So the next thing is this one I intend to take a little bit longer on. Steam.
What is it?
Steam pulled 173 spam games from Steam, all published by one person. They were majority asset flips and stuff like that. Yeah, so this kind of goes back to what they were initially talking about a while ago. I don't remember if we really had a conversation about this, but a few months ago, when they were doing the early access program, or changing Greenlight to Steam Direct, one of the things that they were talking about is they wanted to target spam games. And so far, they haven't really followed through with much of that, except for this guy, who they pulled 173 games off, which were almost entirely clones of themselves, or pulled directly off of the Unity store as like demo games, changed up a very small amount, and then cloned some more for even more fake games.
Jesus.
Man.
I would like to quote the article for a moment here. It includes titles such as Fruit Candy Pop, Rage Parking Simulator 2017, Shapes 4, Shapes 5, Shapes 6, and who could forget Shapes 7?
Fuck me, I love some Shape 7.
Good old Shape 7.
Shape 7 was the best of the series. A lot of people like Shape 6 better, but I feel like Shape 7 really shaped the series, if you will. We're gonna appreciate that pun. I worked hard on that all 3 seconds it took me to come up with it.
So apparently they were talking about it back in May, when they were talking about changes to trading cards.
Right. So, do the developers get revenue off of the trading cards?
Yeah, they get a
Okay.
split. So you know how when you sell something on the marketplace, it takes like 3 cents or something off of like a 10-cent thing.
Mhm.
I think Valve gets 2, and the developer gets 1,
I see.
or something like that. The actual revenue split is mysterious, but half of the Valve tax of trading, it goes to the developer. Maybe not half, but a portion of it does. So
Right.
a lot of games were actually making money by just putting trash games up that did nothing but shoot out trading cards.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
um
Well, that makes sense.
and that's why there were a lot of like really shitty games that they would put on sale for like 10 cents. People would buy it and then make more money by selling the trading cards, or like $1 they might sell the game for, and they would end up making more money from the trading cards than the sales of the games. And people who bought
Right.
these shitty games also were making money on
Making
selling
more
the trading
money.
cards. So,
Yeah.
The axe.
albeit a very small amount of money, but
Yeah.
well, for the people getting,
Well, they weren't
Trading cards,
necessarily
but-
even making money. They were making Steam fun dollars. But
well, a very small
Yeah.
amount of Steam fund dollars is what I was
Yeah.
getting at.
yeah, Steam fun cents.
Although, to be fair, Steam's wallet money thing is like a lot closer to money than most of its equivalents. Like,
Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. Steam labels its stuff as dollars and
Yeah.
cents, specifically by dollars and cents. It's not like
or your
Steam-
regional equivalent.
yeah, or your regional equivalent. Yeah, basically.
hmm
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know.
The axe.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I hope that Steam does more of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. Agreed.
Um,
Because this is dumb. I want to play real video games.
I don't
agree.
have enough money for real video games.
Yeah.
So the next thing, I think that's it for gaming news.
Was that?
Yeah,
I-
we really didn't have much.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
pretty much nothing. But now we have Thel's segment.
Okay. I'm gonna start with. I'm just gonna go down the line here. First things first. I've talked about this a couple times on the podcast, mostly when I was talking about Patty Jenkins and other women directors. Lynn Ramsey, who is the director of a movie that a lot of people saw. You might have seen it. We Need to Talk About Kevin. It was a really popular movie because of its subject matter, and I actually first watched it just this year, mostly because of the fact that I was looking up what it was, and it's like I'd heard of this movie, but I hadn't seen it, and I was like looking up stuff about it. I was like, this is really my shit. Why have I not seen it yet? So I watched it, and of course it was incredible. Very, very good movie.
What are you talking about?
Very
How is this news? What do
What
we?
do you talk about, Kevin?
okay.
What's the news?
The news is that this director finally found a publisher for her newest movie, You Were Never Really Here, which has been described as an art house Taken. I saw some people on Letterboxd talking about it like that. It's basically a sort of action movie, probably very slow because that's how Lynn Ramsey sort of does her stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm very excited about it. It's being released by Amazon.
Okay.
It toured a bunch of film festivals and was very, very popular in all of those. And
That reminds
exciting
me.
to see it
This isn't something to really go into, but Amazon bought the rights for like 3 different science fiction shows that they're putting up, and the notable one is RimWorld. They're making a RimWorld series, so
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Amazon's trying. They want to be Netflix so bad.
I know.
So
Man of the
wait,
High Castle's okay.
it says Joaquin Phoenix. I thought he was dead.
That's not.
What?
It says Joaquin Phoenix. You Were Never Really Here gets February release date. I thought
Joaquin Phoenix is the lead actor.
I thought he was dead.
I don't think he's dead. Is he? Dead?
Oh no! Wait, that was his brother. I think River Phoenix.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember that a few years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
He played Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Was that movie called Ring of Fire? Is that what it was called, or is that just the
Walk
song?
the Line?
Walk the Line. Okay,
It was
okay.
Walk the
It was
Line,
Walk
yeah.
the Line.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway,
Yeah.
moving on.
My bad.
I am really
I didn't
excited
expect
for
there
that.
to be more than one actor with the last name Phoenix, but they were related, so it makes sense.
That's going to be coming out next year. Like, I keep like listing this movie as a movie that came out like this year, but that's just when it toured film festivals and stuff, and I do that with some movies.
Fine.
The one that another thing, Samuel oh man,
L. Jackson.
Universal and Disney are partnering to take the rights for M. Night Shyamalan's one of the two good movies he ever directed, Unbreakable. They're making a sequel called Glass. They say the
Well,
Unbreakable
it's a sequel to
universe.
Unbreakable and Split.
Yeah, Unbreakable and Split. So it's going to be in the Unbreakable universe. Disney's just grabbing whatever they can get their hands on. If it's superheroes, we need to have it. We gotta make all these superhero shit. We gotta do it. It's new universe, new side universe. Come on, everyone, get on board. We got all this superhero shit.
So what do they do?
Disney, my guys.
No, what are they doing? They're
Working on a new movie within the universe, and knowing Disney, they're probably going to split this off into try to make this a cinematic universe. They're probably not going to do something as desperate as like Sony did.
Well,
with,
we
like,
already
Ghost
knew.
War.
We already knew that they were doing a cinematic universe as of Split.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right.
What do you mean? Yeah, you're right. Did you?
I'd forgotten about that.
Did you not actually watch? Did you watch Split? I forget.
I didn't watch Split.
You should. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah,
apparently
it's
it was,
literally the best M. Night
Shyamalan
Shyamalan movie in
for
a decade.
20 years, yeah. Yeah, oof.
Well,
That's basically,
arguably since Unbreakable.
Yeah, oh yeah. I would probably say that. So that's basically all we have to say about that.
Sorry for
the
spoiling that Split is related to Unbreakable, but like at this point,
But
that
yeah.
was a year ago.
Yeah, so whatever. Avatar, the sequels, are going to cost $1 billion.
I'm not even surprised.
Doesn't surprise me at all, yeah.
Listen, Hollywood.
I hate Avatar.
Well, here's the thing.
He just gets up and fucking leaves. Bye, Saine.
Bye. All right, here's the thing. I am gonna talk about this. Hollywood.
Hang on. I'm
Wait, go
imagining James Cameron, right?
Yeah.
I'm imagining him saying, "I will need a lot of money for this project. I will need $1 gajillion." And the
We can
studio
give you
says,
$1 billion because of how much.
I don't think that's a real number, so.
All right, listen. We can give you about $1 billion because of how much this made last time. I mean, I'm sure that it'll make back its returns. I mean, if it made that money in the last time, it'll probably have the same effect that it did way back
Sequels
when. I mean, that's just how
always
things
do
work.
better.
Yeah.
I don't know about this one. I feel like this one's gonna fall short just because I feel like the hype for Avatar has
Yeah, it's been too long.
died. It has
It's been a
been
while.
knocked the fuck out. Like
I don't
people
know though, because it was still like
Ugh.
visually impressive. So if nothing else, a bunch of people will go see it just to see it. Like
Yeah.
like
And
I
that's-
don't know. I'll see it and I won't expect it to be good, but I'll see it probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like people don't remember people aren't like looking at Avatar like they looked at Star Wars. Like it's been a goddamn. It's going to be exactly like a decade. It's going to come out on like a decade later. And
Jeez.
people aren't going to be looking at this like it's some sort of cinematic masterpiece that changed science fiction and cinema there, and it's getting like finally a return to the world of Pandora that we love so much. People have become more cynical about Avatar as time has
Yeah.
moved on.
And I think we talked
So-
about this last week.
Yeah, straight up, because there was Avatar news then, but oh boy. But you know what? Here's what I'm saying. Hollywood, keep it up. Keep making billion-dollar movies. You'll just die faster if you keep doing that. Come on. Come to the Reaper. Don't be
they won't,
afraid.
though.
It's
They'll
time.
make money. That's the thing. They're gonna make money. Like,
No, that's what I'm saying.
There's no way this is not gonna make money. And it's not like it'll kill them faster. If anything, it might just give them the opportunity to also give money to some indie director. Like, I don't know. It comes out in the wash. It's all, like, in a way, they kind of have to fund the good movies with crap like this, so.
Right. Well, here's the thing. One of the thing I'm thinking is they make bigger and bigger, more and more budget movies, and they're probably not going to get like as big of returns. I don't expect this movie to be as big as like the new Star Wars movie, Force Awakens, and like Jurassic World, and they're building it up like it is. They're expecting this movie to be one of those fucking record breakers.
The thing is, though, if they market it enough, it almost doesn't matter. It's gonna make money, like straight up.
Fair enough.
It doesn't matter if their budget is $1 billion and their marketing budget is $1 billion. Like, they'll still make money because this movie was so insanely popular at the time that even dumb people like are gonna
especially dumb people.
Yeah, like I don't know, like it just is gonna make money whether we like it or not. So
yeah.
And critically, it wasn't bad. It was an 84 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh yeah.
So
critically,
like,
Avatar was kind of praised when it came out.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the critics were very, very gaga over it.
And the audience score reflects it too, so I don't know.
Yeah. A new movie, speaking of hard sci-fi, a new movie from Ex Machina's director, which I know Saine saw, Annihilation got its new trailer, and it looks gorgeous.
Can't spell.
It looks good, and I am excited. I am happy that these people are getting the money and stuff to do what they want, and that hard science fiction is definitely coming back, both, with stuff like Westworld on TV and with stuff like, Arrival and the new Blade Runner, which, like we talked about slightly earlier, has been, rave reviews, I feel like, don't really do it justice. They're calling it a fucking masterpiece. People are going...
I really need to rewatch Blade Runner.
I do too. I rewatched it earlier this year.
Didn't we get into an argument last time about how all of us had seen Blade Runner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that I haven't.
Yeah,
I feel like
I actually
did.
don't. Well, no. Here's the thing. I don't remember watching it with Dalsson. Like, the closest thing I remember watching it with Dalsson was, like, I was on a call while I was testing out my projector and watching it on there, and it was like making jokes about the movie while he was in it, but had no context. I don't think we watched it on a stream.
I definitely watched it with you, Thel. For sure.
Maybe.
So I don't know how I would have watched it with you without watching it with Dalsson. That seems weird to me.
Huh.
So that's what's confusing to me, because I definitely watched it with you, for sure. And I feel like I watched it with Dalsson too, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Dalsson didn't see it. We'll have to sit down and force Dalsson to watch it a couple of times, because the thing about Blade Runner, I would say more than any movie I've ever seen, which is fucking crazy to say, you gotta watch it a couple times to really, like, enjoy it. Because, like, the first time you just... I feel like you sort of go into it, like, the first time with the wrong mindset, just because of, like, everything around it. You think of Blade Runner as this big science fiction movie, when really it's, like, plot-wise, very much a noir movie. It's a movie about a detective trying to solve a case.
I don't think it's that hard to watch in one sitting. Like, it's not that complex to me. But maybe I did go into it with the right mindset, because I am very, like, versed in cyberpunk in the first place, so maybe I just already kind of knew where it was going. I don't know.
Well, not only that, I don't mean, like, to be able to really understand it. I mean, just, like, to be able to enjoy it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know. If you like cyberpunk, you're gonna like Blade Runner.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, I don't think that's... I mean...
Yeah.
Because noir is, like, built into the fabric of cyberpunk because of Blade Runner. So it's
Blade
like,
Runner, yeah.
If you've, like, consumed any cyberpunk stuff from the last 10 years,
Yeah,
Like
you're
it's
going to
it's gonna be reminiscent of Blade Runner. It's gonna have noir themes in it. It just is. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
and that's and I don't know. Yeah, that's just the thing. It's like if you're going into it expecting like a story like not about it, like if you're going into it thinking like with a 2001 mindset or a what was that movie, or like a
Interstellar.
Solaris mindset, where you're watching like a old like a science fiction film. I feel like plot wise it hangs much more on noir just because the way it's set up. It just
Mhm.
happens to take place in the universe, and the thing is
Right.
like the world around it is like so expansive and feels so real that it really doesn't need to say all that much with its words and its plot. It can just show you the world and you can see what's going on.
Just the visuals from the new Blade Runner in the trailers and stuff look really good.
So
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. And that's what a lot of people have been saying, is that visually the movie looks great. And that's one of the things which is really weird. Villeneuve, the director who did this, last year he came out with a movie. He comes out with a movie every fucking year, and every fucking year knocks it out of the park. He has been nominated for an Oscar for like the last 4 goddamn years in a row. This man is a good director.
Always the brideman or bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, sound design for fucking he got his movie Arrival got sound design.
Oh, okay. It's kind of weird
Arrival
because
got
of all
sound
the
design.
things for it to win, but whatever.
No, I would say that
sound
Arrival
design was very important in
No,
Right.
here's the thing, and I can tell you this. This is when I watched this movie with I forced Appledan, Dalsson, and Megan to all watch this movie, and the first thing I said, all right, guys, pay attention to the sound in this movie because I swear to God, the sound designer was just showing off. That movie had some great sound design. It's beautiful.
Maybe I should
sound design in
rewatch
that
it because
movie
I
was,
don't
like-
really remember it at all.
The sound design to that movie was like important to the plot, and if you've seen it once and see it again, you'll notice it even more.
I mean, like, are we talking about more than just the language, speech pattern stuff? Because like,
Yeah. Like the place that I really actually noticed the sound design was on the helicopter. Just how it sort of like I don't know if you ever been on a helicopter.
I've been in a helicopter.
No.
I've been flying one.
Oh, okay. So
don't actually-
when
I
you
don't
were
think
in
so.
when you are in a helicopter, that the sound designer obviously that knows a little bit about what it's like because like it sounds exactly like it does in the helicopter. Like the amount of lack of bass in the headphones that the people were using while they were talking was perfect. And the amount of noise that it canceled out was also really, really good. Like that was immediately when I noticed, like, well, the sound design for this is really, really fucking good. Like most times it would have just been people talking over like in the helicopter, but it sounds like they're actually in a fucking helicopter in this movie. Holy shit!
Hmm.
But yeah,
I don't
and
know.
yeah,
I
of
didn't really
course, like,
notice
the
it.
alien language was incredible. But he also won an Oscar for Sicario. I don't remember what it was for.
Did
but,
he win for Sicario?
Was, yeah, I could have swore he won something for Sicario. I know he was nominated for a lot of stuff, but I thought he won something. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong. But yeah, anyway, the point I was trying to make, back to Blade Runner, is visually like Blade Runner the original was very, very busy. There was a lot of shit going on in every frame, and that's the thing, especially if you look at like Arrival. Denny's sort of like visuals are almost very, very deliberate, and there isn't a lot going on. They look very modern and clean, which is a very good visual style, but different. And apparently he goes back to the original sort of busy stuff and does it really, really well. So, yay!
They were just
So
Oscars.
I have
The Oscars were just nominations.
So I have a question.
Well, I mean, his DOP does, but I think he works with the same guy. Anyway, yeah, go on.
What's Annihilation?
Yeah, because that's what I wanted to get back to.
Okay.
We immediately shot off on a tangent, but
Didn't even discuss it.
Okay, Annihilation. Like I said, it is the same director that did Ex Machina. It is based on this very, very, really popular book. Visually it looks gorgeous, and the thing is, we can't really get much into the plot because apparently a lot of the plot is spoilers. what it is someone goes and researches something, basically. Yeah. You know.
You can't
You
even
know
you can't
what?
even give me a premise.
I can
I'm
give
just gonna look up the premise to Annihilation.
Yeah, let's just look it up on IMDb.
Somebody goes and researches something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
I mean, to be fair, that was all that we could really say about Star Trek Discovery without spoiling the plot, too.
Yeah.
A
Fair
biologist. Okay. A biologist's husband disappears. She puts her name forward for an expedition into an environmental disaster zone, but does not quite find what she's expecting.
Yeah. That's why I was going to mention. It looks a little bit almost like with the biological, hazard zone and stuff. It looks a little bit like Stalker, the Andrei Tarkovsky movie.
Ooh. Oh.
No, both of those are based on the same book.
Ooh.
Yeah, with like the shit with the zone and stuff in Stalker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, but this happens a lot where Thel will put a movie trailer in here and we won't actually talk about the movie. It'll just be a jumping off point for like some other random thing. That's how we got into conversations about BoJack over and over again.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I usually talk about like a movie and I don't talk about its plot. I more talk about like the director and his previous works and why you should be interested in the movie. That perspective.
Right.
Because like when it comes to like trailers, I don't like
That's how you always look at movies.
Yeah, because I don't look at like trailers like, oh, okay, this is going to be about this. I look at like who made the movie, who wrote the movie, who produced the movie, etc., etc. Like who are the people involved in this movie? Should I be interested in like these people as creatives? Are they going to do something good again?
I think the premise of a movie is a really good thing to look at, though, because even if it's made by somebody you really like, if you're not interested in what the movie's about,
Not necessarily.
I suppose
what's the point?
Yeah.
Because the premise, like I don't know. The premise is just like the overall skeleton of the plot. Like you can do the same premise in 4 different ways, and
That's true.
2 could be good and 2 could be bad. Like
Yeah.
And here's the thing. When I heard about Gone Girl, David Fincher's movie, I was like looking at David's like, is David Fincher releasing a movie soon? I saw Gone Girl. I was like, kind of a fucking weird premise. It's like some girl goes missing, and that's like, what? Oh, okay.
Wait.
David
That was
Fincher,
that was the premise that was given for Gone Girl. A girl goes missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah, it was basically like,
Wow.
A girl goes missing and her husband has to find her. Yeah.
that could also be the plot of Taken.
Wow.
Yeah, that could also be the.
That is also the premise of Taken. So those are very different movies.
I don't. But okay, so like a listed premise that is not the premise of Gone Girl at all. Like that is not what Gone Girl is even about.
But that is the premise, though, because that is,
I suppose,
without going into what specifically happens in Gone Girl, the basis of the plot from the beginning of the movie is a girl goes missing and the husband looks for her.
I don't know. That's like the jumping off point of the. How long?
That's
ago
what
did
a
Gone Girl
premise
come out?
is, Dalsson. That is what a premise is.
2 years ago, I think. Yeah, 2 years ago.
Like that's where the movie start. Okay, so maybe
but a premise doesn't include the twist.
the
That it doesn't include the
summary of it.
point of it. It does. It's not. The premise isn't a summary. A premise is literally like what is the base way of explaining how the movie kind of starts.
Right. Okay.
What is the thing that happens that makes the movie happen?
Yeah.
I see.
Like the premise for Arrival is some people find some a linguist finds some aliens and tries to talk to them.
Yeah.
I mean, but that is what the whole movie's about.
Sure.
That's what all
is more or less about, like the husband trying to find his wife.
Yeah, but like he figures it out like what 40% of the way into the movie, and the rest of the movie is about that.
Not halfway through.
Yeah, but still, like
I
half of
I
the
will
movie
retain,
is
you guys
about
continue
that.
this
That
discussion.
is a premise. Like,
Yeah.
If at least half of the movie is about that, then what the premise is.
Yeah. But yeah,
So-
I saw that it was being directed by David Fincher, and I was like, okay, well, I'm definitely gonna go see this just because I really like David Fincher, and I'm excited to see his new movie. I went and saw it, and holy fucking shit!
Yeah, you have
know?
like a real thing going on with David Fincher, don't you?
I want to kiss him. I love David Fincher. I mean, a lot of people talk shit about like a lot of his some of his earlier movies being like edgelord stuff, but I mean, especially his more modern movies. I love David Fincher. I watched The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo every winter. I love that man.
I watched that. I don't know.
I'm returned.
Welcome back.
Sorry about that.
But yeah, mostly just because I feel like David Fincher makes the kind of movies that I really, really like. You know, really, really dark sort of mystery films where a lot of fucked up shit happens, and it's kind of a head scratcher. That's what he does really good. And
I
he's
don't.
really
I
good
know
at
that. I
it.
know for a fact that I have watched Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, but I still don't remember what it's about.
Did you watch it with us?
No, I watched it. Well, I don't know if I watched it with you, but I definitely watched it on my own first.
Okay.
But
It was
I
the
don't
movie about-
remember it hardly at all.
It
But I
was
know
the
that I
movie
watched
about-
it.
It was yeah, I know because I made Dalsson watch it. It was the movie about James Bond goes down to a snowy town and
I remember that. That's
Which
all
is
I.
one?
That's literally all I remember about it is Daniel
That's
Craig. and there's a girl with a dragon tattoo. That is what I remember about that movie.
Well, there was a girl who was murdered, and there was this big family of like industrialists, and it was like one of these family members murdered this girl. Which one of you fucking was it? And that's like the whole mystery. He
I
has
need
to go
rewatch
through
that
all of
movie.
these
Maybe
people.
I like passed out during it or something. I don't know why I can't
Maybe.
remember it.
It's during
I
most of that
probably would
movie-
remember it if I continued to watch
Here's
it.
the thing. During most of that movie, there are two plots that are semi-connected, but it goes
like
it-
into one plot.
yeah,
more.
it goes into one plot more, and then finally they get together like towards
Okay,
the
that's
end of the
fine,
movie.
but I
So it's-
still
it's
don't
hard
remember
to-
what it's about. So
For
Yeah,
me, it was
I
hard to
like-
follow, and that was one of the movies that I paid like close
A lot
attention
of
to.
attention.
Yeah.
And I would definitely rewatch it just because it's a good movie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
Just like during the mid sections where it flipped back and forth between the two of them, I was like, how is this related at all? I don't care about this. I want to see more of that.
speaking of good movies,
Oh,
Stephen King's It.
Boy.
oh yeah.
Oh,
Stephen
It
King's
made
It
man.
now becomes the highest grossing horror film of all time, with the caveat that internationally, The Exorcist is still made more, and Exorcist's figure is not adjusted for inflation, which means Exorcist has made a lot more.
Yeah.
But
You flung my joke that I was holding my breath for 30 minutes out the window
Oh.
by saying
come on.
Stephen King's It.
Oh.
I was
I know,
really
fuck
waiting.
you. Fuck
Yeah.
you.
You knew I was waiting for you to say It is the highest grossing horror movie. I was going to say, what is? You ruined it.
Stephen King's what?
Well, I
Stephen
can't
King-
just say
what?
It. I have to say Stephen King's It, or you don't
Yeah,
know which
but-
It I'm talking about. That's why.
But everybody else does just say It, and I make that joke every time.
No.
I know, and
It-
it's really
funny.
fucking annoying.
It's funny that we have to specify Stephen King's It, because that's like a joke I make for everything else. Disney's Marvel's The Avengers.
Oh yeah.
Stephen King's It.
Yeah, but that's not a
Trademark.
But like initially in a conversation that isn't already on the topic, just saying It might be a little tricky.
Well,
sure.
yeah, and that's why
Like
I led
I
with
knew to
Stephen
expect
King.
it. Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, and it kind of just goes back to this movie being so good.
Yeah.
Like, and the more that I've kind of reflected about it, the more I'm like, you know, it did so much right, because it was, I don't know, like, the more that I think about this movie, the more I'm like, horror movies almost never have plot. And this movie does. You know what I mean?
That's honestly what I'm most excited for. Like when I finally fucking see this movie, is that I'm more excited for like the 80s running around doing Steven Spielberg kids stuff than I am for like the actual spooky clown.
Well, that's the thing. That whole movie is that. So
Yeah.
even the parts with the spooky clown in it, it's still just like the Goonies running around.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
well,
I don't know, like the horror movies really need to like get this through their head that like horror movies need a skeleton of something else on them, or else it's just.
I don't know. They don't all have to be about skeletons. Got him. I finally got to make a stupid joke.
Well, I said a skeleton of something else. I didn't say it was about skeletons, but whatever.
Well, a skeleton of like a dog, a cat, maybe.
Anyway,
Okay.
and actually, this is gonna sound crazy, but I think one of the few kind of things to sort of think about that is of all properties, the Resident Evil series. Because if you think about it this way, it is like a dumb action movie with kind of like the trappings of a horror movie, right? Whereas it is kind of like a adventure movie, like a teen adventure movie with the trappings of horror. Well, more than the I guess that one's definitely more than the trappings because that's very much horror, but like it there's not too many like examples of movies that are not just about spooky shit happening, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just as much about how that spooky shit is impacting the lives of those people, not just an excuse for people to be murdered in 20 different ways. Cough in the new Saw.
Yeah.
Oh no, really?
The new Saw? You mean all the Saws?
Yeah,
Hey,
well, I mean, there is a new
was
one coming
detective
out.
Story.
There's a new one coming out called Jigsaw?
Wait, hold on. I thought that there was like a new one coming out that was going to be like, this is the final Saw movie, the last one, and it was like coming out this year. They announced another one.
No, Jigsaw. That's the one.
Okay, that's the same one.
We're talking about the same one. And it's kind of funny because like
a detective story. The first one.
Okay, so the first one was actually good. It was like a psychological thriller.
That one wasn't Eli Roth, was it? That was the other guy.
I don't remember who directed it, but it was like
at the same time as Hospital.
It's like they took Saw, which was almost essentially an indie film, at least in tone, if nothing else. I don't really remember the circumstances of how it was released, but yeah, it was like this small psychological thriller that was also partly a detective story. And then they took what is the premise of this? People die in hilarious ways. Let's make a series of that. So like every other Saw following that was just, how can we like make the characters die in a ridiculous way? It was like the same thing that happened to Final Destination, except Final Destination 1 was also kind of that, but
Final Destination. It's so funny because I was thinking of Final Destination the whole time you were talking about that. I was like, Final Destination has the most ridiculous shit.
Because that's what the Saw series turned into. It turned into Final Destination.
I remember vaguely a robot chicken sketch that had, I think, the characters from Jughead in a Final Destination situation, and I legitimately can't. Like, I only remember it vaguely, so I can't actually remember what ridiculous deaths were in the Jughead robot chicken sketch and which ones were from like I remember a scene where two girls get trapped in a tanning salon and burned to death, but I don't remember if that was a Robot Chicken or an actual movie.
I think that one was Robot Chicken, but I do not blame you.
Like, it was ridiculous. Like, a cat flips the switch, and then the guy locks himself outside, and then he's like, oh no, I can't get back inside.
So Stephen King's It had to be in pre-production while Stranger Things was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of interesting that they both hit at the same time. You know what I mean? Well,
Yeah.
give or take.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, I don't know. I do feel like during it wasn't. I don't think it was in pre. Yeah, oh yeah, okay, yeah. It was probably in pre-production when Stranger Things was going crazy. I do feel like because of the fact like the kid from Stranger Things is in it, that it was like while in pre-production and getting ready, it was looking at
Is
how
one of the
popular
kids from
Stranger
Stranger
Things
Things?
was, and oh yeah, absolutely.
Which one? I don't even remember.
I think it was the main kid, the one who keeps Elle at his house. I don't remember his name. It's yeah, but one of the kids is
Well,
definitely from Stranger Things is in it, and I do feel like it was very much like, oh, this is popular, we need to do stuff like that, and good.
Yeah.
So,
But sometimes, oh, this is popular, we need to do stuff like that is bad, too. Often.
Hi, Saw. We're still talking about you. So yeah, Stephen King it good, Saw bad.
Okay. Fair enough. I feel like that was the most on topic we've ever been.
Yeah.
In our
no,
lives.
we weren't
We did
talking
it.
about Saw. We were talking about it.
Yeah.
We were talking about what? Ha got him!
I'm gonna kill you.
You fucking
You knew
saved
exactly.
it, man.
You know exactly
did
what I
it.
was talking about.
You fucking you pulled it out. You pulled it out.
I would
You
hang up on you if we weren't doing a podcast right now.
Yeah, you were biding your time for that. You made him walk.
I actually
wasn't.
That was not intentional at all.
That was
until
good.
I thought of it. But no, yeah, like
Bullshit.
you seized the fucking
we were supposed
moment.
to be talking about it, but I feel like tangenting to Saw is more on topic than most things.
Fair enough, I suppose.
Well, we were comparing and contrasting it.
Yeah.
Stephen
Yeah,
King's
yeah,
It
exactly.
to
Another
Saw.
horror movie that came out this year.
That movie's not out yet.
Oh, it's not. Okay, never mind.
Big Saw is not out yet. No.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's
I
coming
think
out
it came
early
out this
next
month.
year. I don't remember. It's not out yet though. Either way.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Should be.
There's also
If they
other
were
horror
smart,
movie.
it would be out soon because it's fucking October.
Yeah.
well, it's
That's what I
probably
think
coming
about.
out. It's probably coming out end of October. Probably then. It's probably coming out on fucking Halloween. I don't know. Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe Friday the
Everything.
13th. I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe I'll
fuck.
just look it up.
Yeah.
Why did they not look at the calendar 4 years ahead and think we should make another Jason movie? Friday
Because
the
they tried
13th.
that and it made fucking $0 and 0 cents.
How could a Jason movie make $0 on Friday the 13th in October?
Because they people are fucking sick and tired of Jason, as was proved last time they fucking rebooted it.
Yeah. October 27th, Jigsaw comes out. So
Okay.
Halloween weekend.
Pretty close, yeah.
And before we stop, we actually do have one next piece of news. This is the big thing in movies that a lot of people have been talking about. So this year, a movie called Your Name came out. So I know Saine has seen it.
Yeah.
It's still on my watch list. It's one of the ones I
You
really
still
really,
haven't
really
seen
need.
it.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it. I haven't been watching a lot of movies this year. I have been busy as hell. But yeah, I really, really need to watch this. The thing is,
Watch it, yeah.
yeah, J.J. Abrams is producing a live-action remake of this movie.
Which is really weird to me because that movie is very steeped in Japanese culture.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like the only way he could kind of do it is by taking all of the Japanese culture out and making it, like, very Western, at which point it would not be the same thing. So, like,
Yeah.
Right.
I just don't see how this works, honestly.
Yeah. And okay, here's what I think. What I think is that J.J. Abrams really liked this movie, and it's sort of like he's passionate about liking this movie, and he wanted to do something with this movie. Question, Mr. Abrams, listen, I would like to point out something that one of your colleagues did about 10 years ago now. Do the same thing that John Lasseter did. just chill the fuck out of this movie. Go to all the studios, show this movie to all of your Hollywood friends, make sure it wins the Oscar, and like start producing like all of the directors future works, and like making sure that like your company is the one that
I think the
localizes
problem with
them,
that
and
is
puts them
it
in
was
big
still too,
theaters and stuff.
even though it was an international
What-
film, it was still too low key, kind of. It was
What-
big
what-
in that people knew about it, but it's, I don't know. What, Dalsson?
What movie
I-
are you
I know.
referring to from 10 years ago?
The reason that everyone knows who Hayao Miyazaki is in America is because John Lasseter made him popular by getting Disney to localize all of his stuff.
Really?
Yeah, John Lasseter
Huh.
saw Spirited Away. I'm pretty sure it was his first Hayao Miyazaki movie. He was blown away by it, met the guy, and just made sure that this man won the Oscar for that year for Spirited Away. He
By
really,
making
really
Disney
went
localize it.
not only by making Disney localize it, but forcing all of his Hollywood friends to sit down and watch it and vote for it.
Huh.
He paraded the heck out of this movie, and that's why that movie won, because John Lasseter really wanted it to win.
Huh.
J.J. Abrams, if you did that, then you would make this guy popular. That
Interesting.
I mean, legitimately, anyone who grew up in like the 2000s will know, like, Hayao Miyazaki. Yeah, even if you go like, oh, Satoshi Kon, I don't know who the hell that is. They'll be like, oh yeah, Hayao Miyazaki, the Spirited Away guy. Yeah, I love his movies; they're great. It's because of John Lasseter.
I actually think more of Howl's Moving Castle than Spirited
Oh
Away,
yeah, well
but-
yeah.
I always
Well,
think of
even that, too.
Totoro.
Yeah, Totoro, and because
Yeah, but
that's
that
their
one-
big thing.
Yeah, that one
Yeah.
was almost more through marketing, like merchandise than
not
anything
necess-
else.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because that was like that was in all of
That's
the.
because it was
Studio
like
Ghibli.
Hello Kitty's level of like toys and shit sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And they put it on like Studio Ghibli is just like Studio Ghibli is like the picture of Totoro. That's their
right.
that's their thing
it-
that comes before every one of their movies. Yeah.
I like learned about it like far before I even knew what an anime was, and I
Yeah.
saw it before I even knew
Exactly.
it was a marketed thing. But yeah, I
Yeah.
have the VHS somewhere. around here.
The first Miyazaki movie I watched was Howl's Moving Castle in high school. So actually, it was far from the first thing I had watched,
Right.
anime wise. But I
Yeah.
think
I
honestly,
think-
the first thing I watched anime wise might have been, if it wasn't Dragon Ball Z, it was Gundam Wing. I think it might have been Gundam
Pokemon?
Wing.
Yeah, I think the first thing I watched.
Are you counting Pokemon or no?
I think Gundam Wing came out before Pokemon.
I think Gundam Wing did.
It did.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. That that was my first. Probably my first was something in that sort of like area of Cartoon Network.
Yeah,
it might have been
it's
Pokemon,
like-
it might not have.
Yeah,
I
it
don't-
could have been like the usual suspects are Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z,
Yeah.
Okay.
Sailor Moon,
Yeah. It might have been
Gundam,
Sailor Moon.
basically any of the Gundam series, like any of them.
Yeah.
Pokemon. Did I say Pokemon? Digimon, maybe.
Yeah. No, you didn't.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay,
There's another one. There's like one more. Okay, I just had it. I don't remember, but Yu-Gi-Oh. Although I guess
Oh,
by
yeah,
that
of
point,
course.
you would already have seen Pokemon, probably.
Yeah, you would have some idea of what anime was. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
And yeah,
There's like, I feel like there's like one I'm forgetting about. Oh well.
yeah.
Maybe Ghost in the Shell
Yeah, maybe Ghost in
Maybe.
the Shell.
because of the movie. Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. But even then, like, you would have to have parents who liked weird shit. So I don't know.
Mhm.
And that's the thing. My parents always did, so I was immediately jumped into this shit.
But even then, like, you probably didn't start with Ghost in the Shell. So
no, I didn't.
yeah.
really
So
know.
do you remember what your first anime was, or do you not really remember?
I straight up do not. It was something that aired on Cartoon Network at some point, or like
Mine,
one of the
see,
big
I can't
networks.
remember if it was Sailor Moon or
And yeah, mine
Gundam
might have been
Wing
Sailor
or
Moon.
Dragon Ball. It could have been any of those three.
I think mine was probably Sailor Moon.
I think
Yeah.
mine might have been Sailor Moon too. And I remember watching it and being like embarrassed about the fact that I enjoyed watching it as a kid.
Everybody did.
Oh yeah, same. Yeah.
That's why when Powerpuff Girls came out, I didn't even care anymore at that point.
I'm
Because
still
Yeah, fair
embarrassed.
like
about
I was
watching
already
it.
embarrassed about Sailor Moon, so now it's like whatever. I
Yeah.
actually really
I'm
love
still
Sailor Moon.
embarrassed that I used to watch Sailor Moon because the fucking adaptation was horrendous.
I rewatched
Well,
it.
here-
I rewatched it a year ago, like all of
Uh-huh.
it.
The
It
adaptation,
does
or
not.
did you
No,
watch
the
it
original.
dubbed?
The
Oh.
dub. No,
Or the dub, or did you
It
watch
was
the
not
dub
Crystal.
or the Japanese version?
I think I watched the Japanese
Because-
version.
Because the
But it might
Deke
have been
version
fan
is
dubbed.
literally not the same show.
No, I know. I know that it was significantly different. I think I watched the Japanese version. I think I watched all
Okay.
of the Japanese version from season 1 all the way to where it gets really shitty at
No,
the
the
end.
Japanese version is probably decent.
No,
I
it's
just,
not.
No,
It does not hold
Really?
up at all. No.
Oh,
God
no.
awful.
Okay.
It is.
never
It,
seen
no,
the
I like.
Japanese version.
It is like terrible. I'm telling you right now. Even the original Japanese version is not that good. Straight up.
Mm,
I see.
mm.
To the extent that like, you know how people were giving shit to Sailor Moon Crystal?
Uh-huh.
Sailor Moon Crystal is better.
Oh
I,
Jesus!
I swear to God.
Mm.
It does not hold up at all.
Huh.
No, and you know what? I definitely remember, for a fact that I watched the Japanese version because the main character's name is different.
Right.
And it was
Wait.
definitely
Isn't it Serena or Selena?
no, it's
Or whatever they-
Usanagi,
No?
I think.
Usanagi,
Usagi.
right? Usagi, right?
Yeah.
That's her real name, like it, and it's Serena in the English dub, or in the
Right.
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Close to Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, which was popular at the time it was released.
Serena, same thing. I actually remember
Yeah.
the Sabrina the Teenage Witch cartoon. I actually kind of liked that
Shit,
too.
I love both of those.
Yeah, and the
Sabrina
original
Teenage Witch was
Sabrina.
some good shit.
The original Sabrina was so funny because I love Salem so much. He was fucking great.
Oh yeah.
I think Salem might have informed a lot of my like sarcastic humor growing up.
Mhm.
So I feel like that black puppet made a big influence on I don't know, the
Yeah.
man I am today.
Shit, Sabrina and the Teenage Witch is one that I actually want to go back to and like watch some of the episodes. I feel like
almost-
that one doesn't
I'm
get,
scared.
like,
I
as
wonder
much.
how much it actually does hold up.
hold up.
It
Yeah,
might
I
might
know.
hold up okay, or it might be trash. I don't remember it close enough to
Yeah.
really know.
Well, here's the thing. It's one of those things that a lot of people like don't talk about constantly. Like I see a bunch of stuff about like, it was sort of a kids show, but I see a lot of stuff, about Seinfeld and Frasier and stuff like that were coming out around ish the same time, and like people like make some jokes
Friends.
about those, and you see them. Yeah, Friends. You see that stuff popping up everywhere, but you never see anything about Sabrina the Teenage Witch except like a couple of screenshots. It's like, oh yeah, that's the cat
Unless
from
you're
Sabrina or
talking
whatever.
specifically about Melissa Joan Hart and how she hasn't done anything in like
Yeah.
15 years.
Yeah,
Huh.
so I don't know. Maybe some other people are way ahead of us have rewatched Sabrina the Teenage Witch and are like, oh no, I like
I
this.
don't think
at
so
some
because
point."
I feel like if it was actually that bad, people would be talking about it. I think it must have been like
Yeah.
very mediocre or something. I like.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know
that's
how.
even More,
Yeah, I don't know
that's even
how.
More scary.
I think it was probably okay.
Yeah.
I remember.
Hopefully
See,
it
the most I remember about Sabrina Teenage Witch is I actually remember the movie more. There was like a direct to TV movie that I remember
Dude,
more than
remember
anything
that
else.
being-
I think it was
remember
about
that
mermaids or
existed.
something. It sounds like something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were talking about your name.
Yeah. anime in general.
And we ended up on Sabrina the Teenage Witch, so that's cool.
We sure fucking went a goddamn mile with this one.
So yeah, getting back to Your Name, I don't really know how they could do it. Literally.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Because it's not just
Yeah.
the setting is very integral. It's like the setting drives the plot. Like
Another.
It's
Okay.
very Japanese in the sense that like very specific locations have a lot to do with it. A lot of specific like cultural practices have a lot to do with it. A lot of the disambiguation between like man in Tokyo and woman in the middle of fucking nowhere is like very important to the plot. So I just do not like if you made an English version of this, it would be like
New York City
no,
boy
like
and
My
a
Sweet
Country Girls
16
Make
or something,
Two.
or what's it
Yeah.
called? That movie
Freaky
where
Friday?
well, yes, I was thinking about Freaky Friday a little bit, but
Okay.
but actually, I think would probably be a more Western version of the same idea would be like The Princess and the Pauper, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like that's I don't know, like I just don't see how you could do it without making it very Japanese, which would be weird, right?
Yeah.
I
don't know how they do it.
all I have seen, like I've seen this separate from our discussion here, and all I've seen about it is everybody's just worried about whitewashing, which is almost the same thing, but when you say that term, it's not like everybody's just worried, oh, they're gonna hire a bunch of white actors for these Japanese people, and it's like, first off, they haven't released the cast list yet. Second off, the
It's not even that
Well,
culture
they don't
thing-
even have a cast yet.
Yeah.
Straight up. It's
Yeah,
not,
exactly.
They don't even have
a
I don't,
cast.
they don't even have a casting director.
Yeah,
Because they're in
exactly.
pitch mode right now. But
yeah.
And so people are just worried about it being whitewashed, which I guess is the same thing that you're talking about, but that's not what people are talking about when they say that.
Well, here's the thing. My biggest problem with this is the biggest problem I have with like all of these. Just let things be things. Just let them be.
well, I
Let them exist
don't
as their own
mind.
thing.
I don't mind live action adaptations of anime.
Right.
They're
I don't
almost
want
universally bad.
adaptations. Yeah.
They're almost universally bad, but if there was a good director who was passionate about it, it could happen, right?
Mhm.
The problem with doing it for this movie is that, again, it's so steeped in Japanese culture. Like before you even get to the casting part, like how do you square the circle of figuring out what is like Japanese and what is like you would have to either do a very westernized version, which it would not make as much sense. Like whitewashing would almost not even come into it, because then it'd be like a totally different
movie.
thing. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
like a totally different movie.
They would just
Or
have to
you have to go the
only-
other route and just it's in Tokyo. It's in Japan. It is Japanese people in Japan. Like those are the only two ways you could do it.
yeah.
So I don't and then it would be like trying to sell a very like specific like Japanese thing to a Western audience, which would just not
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And
well,
like, the
I don't know. If
studios-
it's good enough, maybe it would cross
Yeah.
over, but like I don't know. That sounds like an indie thing, not a
Wait, here's the thing.
not a
uh,
big studio risk. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. It might work with Western audiences. They might like watch this and be like, "Oh yeah, that was a good movie. That was really great, and I loved it." And it might
But
just
what
be
the
about.
fuck is a Tokyo?
But yeah. Well, here's the thing. That's how studios see people. They see people as, oh, what the fuck a Japan is. All I know is superheroes and fucking hot dogs and
When
shit.
people aren't actually
Well,
like that.
because
Yeah.
here's kind of the big issue with this is there's two main characters, obviously. One is a like guy from Tokyo going to high school trying to get into a good college because he wants to be an architect, or maybe he's already in college. I forget, but he's going to be an architect, and a woman who is a shrine maiden. Very much steeped in Japanese culture. Like there's this one of the there's an important thing about how she makes a Japanese version, like a Japanese sake out of chewing on rice and spitting it into a like box so that it can ferment. Like it is literally like the most Japanese culture thing that they are only like, even in the movie they kind of acknowledge that this is like a fucking weird ass thing to be doing, but they're doing it for cultural like traditional reasons. So like how do you go from that weird like very specific Japan thing that is very traditional, it's not even like, oh, Japanese are doing weird things. It is like this very specific ritual to Western audience. It just doesn't. It doesn't. I don't know. I don't know how it would work. Unless they just tried
the tradition.
Unless they just tried to like take it and be like, this will introduce you to weird Japanese culture. I don't know. Like I just.
But
don't
a shrine maiden is not the same thing as a church.
No, it's not.
No.
Like, here in my nun church, we make sweet tea the right way. We have to use all natural sugars.
Yeah, so like what would the alternative of that be? That would be like
we make
like
the good
a person,
bathtub whiskey.
Like what would the westernized version of that be? That would be like an American guy from like New York or like LA, right? Those versus the rural person in like what, Kentucky?
The country girls make it do, yeah.
Or like or the middle of nowhere in like Nebraska or something. Like how? That'd be so weird.
Traditionally during the Prohibition era, we made bathtub gin just like this, and we still keep that tradition up today.
We used to buy our fermented grapes in block form with instructions on how not to make wine.
So like, and that ends up being like the tradition and stuff. Ends up being a major plot point. So like how?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like Kentucky. It would have to be somewhere like
Louisiana,
in
Texas.
driving distance of whatever city.
Oh yeah.
So it would have to be like West Virginia or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe yeah.
Oh, someone from Austin, Texas versus someone in rural Texas. That would work.
I don't know.
I don't think that's close enough.
Texas is still
because we're talking about like even like Dallas is not like a Tokyo. It would have to be like it would almost have to be New York, right?
Yeah.
So maybe New York and New Jersey. I don't know.
City. New Jersey.
So I don't know. Like, just thinking about that is just silly. So I don't know.
What I hope for this live action adaptation is that it goes the same way. Remember when Keanu Reeves was going to play Spike in a Cowboy Bebop movie?
No.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly.
But,
that's where I hope this movie goes. Development hell, directly into the trash.
Man, were people upset about whitewashing for that? Because Spike Spiegel is a German name, I think.
Necessarily. They weren't upset about whitewashing. This was back in like the mid to early 2000s. They weren't upset about whitewashing. They were upset that Keanu Reeves was playing him. Like, oh, that's such a shit. This man has to show some emotion. Fuck Keanu Reeves. It was like post Matrix 3 had come out and everyone was mad at Keanu Reeves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why people were mad at Keanu Reeves. He's a good actor.
Yeah, it was the fucking Wachowski previously brothers' fault.
Yeah.
The Wachowski siblings. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's about it, right?
Yeah, that's it. What was the last thing?
So, Thel, you said that you lost all of that footage for the spooky game, but found it again.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did find the original file for the spooky game. I'm gonna have to re-edit it, so it's gonna take a while, but I might get it up by Friday. But yeah.
Well,
I found it.
you have a video, a Nier Automata video coming out on Monday, right? Or is that today?
I have a Nier Automata video that I already uploaded.
Oh, it's uploaded
up.
now? Okay, cool.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
up.
straight up.
Go watch
I
it.
haven't watched it yet. So yeah, go ahead and watch that. Why don't you just plan for next Monday? Or the Monday after, depending on where you're at with it.
Well, here's the thing. I don't really have an idea for another video after, like, the Nier Automata. It's like, well, what am I gonna do?
Oh, no, I mean
Cuphead.
the spooky video as
You've
your
been
next
playing
Monday.
Cuphead.
No, I mean, yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh.
But I kind of, like, separate them from, like the videos that I do and the spooky videos I sort of do separately. Though I
Okay.
do want to do, like, that's the thing. Because of the fact that it is currently Halloween, I do want to do a bunch of, like, spooky stuff. So I was thinking maybe I do something with, like, Amnesia or, like, I don't know. I'm still working out in my brain what I want to do.
Do a spooktacular.
Yeah, and maybe we just do a shit ton of spooky games for this month. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that one will be up sometime soon. It probably won't take me super long to edit because I just need a supercut it. Like, all the audio and stuff is already there.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We
I
have
thought I lost
also
it, but now it's found.
we've also started doing a private marathon of horror movies. So I thought it might be fun to like share on a weekly basis our list of movies for people to watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
What we watched this week was let me just bring
Was-
that list up so I can remember. We want to share your list. Hold on, let me go find it. Where the fuck is it? Was
Night of the Living Dead,
Night of the Living Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead we did first. So we did Shaun of the Dead, and then Night of the Living Dead, then the original Dawn of the Dead, and then the remake of Dawn of the Dead.
Yes.
So yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
Mostly Romero movie.
They're pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
May
it's
he
gonna
rest in
include
peace.
bad ones on purpose, by the way. So
Oh yeah, absolutely.
so yeah. I don't
That
know.
is the reason that we do this every year
Yeah.
among ourselves. That is the reason we're doing zombie movies, because George Romero just passed away.
and
this
we
year.
wanted to honor his memory by doing zombie movies this year. The first year we did this with
Werewolves?
Yeah, werewolves.
Werewolves.
First was
the
werewolves.
first
I
year.
know it was werewolves because Sane was the coordinator for that year.
Yeah.
Well,
the
I
first one was
coordinated this one, too.
werewolves.
Then it was
Yeah.
witches.
Aliens.
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 Right.
Right.
Then it was witches, which was the year I
That one kind of
took
sucked.
everything. I don't know.
I mean, it had some notably good ones, but like the choices, there weren't nearly as many choices compared to the other
Yeah,
ones.
the biggest problem was that
Like
there
we-
weren't very many witch movies.
Which is weird because it's like there was less witch movies than werewolf movies, which is just like
and alien movies. the
well,
thing is with,
aliens
like-
makes more sense to me, but like witch movies, that's like surprising.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
werewolves,
the
it's
thing
like
is with like werewolves is there were a bunch of stuff like we went all the way back to the 1930s. We watched like all
That's
of the
true.
Universal werewolf movies. We watched like the first one, the second one, and the Werewolf Meets Frankenstein.
right.
Like,
But
I love
still,
those movies.
I feel like there were a lot more choices for the werewolf
Yeah,
movies because
there
I feel like we
definitely were.
cut stuff on the werewolf one.
Well, like
Yeah, we did.
like with witches, part of the problem, like you said, there's just wasn't a lot of options. Like we did,
Yeah.
we had some good ones. Like we had Wisteria, we had The Witch, we had stuff like that. But like we had to do like Paranormal Activity, which is
yeah,
in the one that we
And-
watched.
yeah.
It didn't even like call attention to the
No,
fact
in
that
the
a witch was the call.
Two that we
In the
watched.
two that we watched,
To
yeah.
be fair,
Yeah.
they were probably the best paranormal activities were the first two, but
Oh well, yeah, but yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know. Like there was no options for that one. Anyway, why don't we give next week's two? So if
Okay,
you
so
want
next
to
week-
stay with us, we might talk about it next week. That we ended up going on for Star Trek for so long, but
That we didn't get to
We
talk
didn't
about
get
like
to.
what we thought about these movies. Next week, what we are going to be watching is we're probably we're going to watch Day of the Dead, then Return of the Living Dead, then Land of the Dead, and Return of the Living Dead Part 2. So 2 Romero movies and 2 Return of the Dead movies, which are both sort of formative zombie movies, like Romero's ending and Return of the Dead's beginning.
Right.
and to
Return of the-
warn you, Land of the Dead and Return of the Living Dead Part 2 are supposed to be bad. So
Yeah. So we're jumping right into the trash. and I'm excited to jump in the trash.
Yeah.
But also, I'm excited to watch Return of the Living Dead because it's been like 5 years or something.
And we're
since
not
I
gonna
last saw
spoil it. We'll talk about it next week. But
Yeah.
you want to talk about jumping in the trash? The Friday the 13th. That's when we're jumping in the trash.
We're jumping deep in the trash.
Right, but what other zombie movies could we possibly watch on that particular day
Hush, hush,
Well,
hush,
here's the
hush.
thing.
where the
Two
stars
of these
fucking
movies-
align?
Two movies that we're watching, and not to spoil anything, but the two of the movies we're watching on the 13th, Dead Alive and The Reanimator, are both very good movies. It's just the other movies we're watching are trash.
They're still silly though, right?
I'm so excited for
yes.
Dead Alive. I've seen it 100 times and I'm never gonna get tired of it.
Anyway,
Seriously, I showed you that
You
last
showed
year
it to me for the first time and I wouldn't watched it like 3 more times, dude.
Oh, God.
okay.
That
Anyway,
movie's great.
so that's our podcast for this week. Thanks
Mm.
for joining us once again. Do you have
Mother
anything to
is
add
my
real quick,
dog.
Dalsson?
As for stream content, I'm torn on to whether I should just bite the bullet and buy Cuphead and play it now, because I'm at the end of a playthrough in Nier, and then go back to Nier. I'm just worried that I won't be able to force myself to go back to it. So
You should stop
I'm
mid-progress
considering
in
that.
Nier, so you should start another playthrough and then just stop in the middle of the playthrough instead of stopping at the end of the playthrough, because then I think you'd be even less likely to go back to it.
That's true. Yeah.
So maybe
Oh,
play a little
okay.
bit more of Nier? I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see what I'll do.
Okay.
But
I
my
don't know if the
my
third
next
playthrough is
planned
super
stream
long.
is supposed to be Thursday night with these two assholes here.
Yeah.
Right.
But I might stream again before that because I didn't stream this morning. I was sleeping.
Fair enough. Me too.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
That's why we were late, because we all slept in.
yeah.
Thanks for joining us. We will see you next week. Same time, same channel, whatever. Bye.
Stay beautiful.
Like, comment, and subscribe.